Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Click R3, number 40. After what can only be described as a better than usual state of play, it's a good night. It's a good night right now, Ryan. How we doing?
I would agree. I would agree. John, I just got done playing 20 minutes of a new God of War game.
You played it too? I literally got
Yeah.
because I got done with Newswave, and then I was like, I got 20 minutes to start this thing before Click R3, so I
All right,
started it as well.
So we both have 20 minets on it, is what you're saying?
Maybe 15. I got to the first campsite area.
John, I just fucking saved.
Yep,
Right,
that's what I got to.
Okay,
So.
perfect. Well, we're aligned on that.
Is there a trophy for the hard? Like, do you have to beat it on the hardest difficulty to get the trophy?
So
do you already look all this?
Well, this is the thing, John. SIE does not do shadow drops.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's true.
we went into a very blind game, and you knowing me, I definitely popped into the list real quick because sure enough, before picking a difficulty, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, hold on a second. Now, there's a lot of secret trophies, so and the thing is, SIE has been like making their lists relatively approachable. I safely assume you can play on like not the easiest setting, but I don't think you have to beat it on hard. I could be wrong.
I picked the hardest. I picked the hardest one available just because I was like, this feels like a setup. So
yeah. A lot of SIE games like since 2020, the list. I think they I don't want to say mandate it, but I think they deeply recommend all in-house studios, external teams to draft up a somewhat approachable list. So I don't think difficulty is required.
Okay, so it means that Saros won't be like Returnal.
Okay, well that I think will still be a challenge, just inherently based on the game.
It was the randomization that was annoying. Really, was what it was.
What made Saros or Returnal hard, like outside of gameplay. If you can't like beat that game, then there's really no.
Oh yeah.
But what's tough about the game is the sigils. That's the pain in the ass.
It's rolling them like because otherwise I'd do so many runs before I found one of like 5 or something I needed. It's like, oh, okay. So hours and hours would pile up just because it wouldn't spawn for you.
Yeah, that's definitely like the pain point for Returnal, I would say. But yeah, I mean, John, the state of play, a lot of stuff. And as you mentioned, I would. Is this not like one of the best state of plays we've had?
Yeah, it makes me think that maybe the showcase moniker really is a thing of the past now, because this feels like it would have been showcase level territory.
I would think that we've already had a handful of state of plays that exceed the last showcase, which was 2023, the infamous showcase that had Concord in it. So,
well,
I don't know. It's
Concord. Did Concord kill the showcase?
Well, it's just that was like the one show with it, and then Spider-Man 2 stuff.
Man.
But I don't know. Yeah, like I think it's safer to stick with state of play. Don't call the live stream anything else unless it's like for new hardware, I would think.
Ryan, you got to tell me, did it feel great, that kind of convenience to just buy it digitally and it's there for you?
I hate that when I purchased it, I fucking knew somebody was going to say something. So shout out to Varang. Here's the thing, Varang, because I've already got an excuse for you. It's not a full-priced premium title.
Okay.
See. Here's the thing that folks don't understand about me. I will buy digital games, but there is a gray area. Now, it did suck to do this, but it's kind of a truth I'm already confronting. I don't think they're going to print this game.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't. Here's the thing: they didn't print Days Gone Remastered either. So SIE already does, like, they're kind of getting there. They still print nearly everything, but I have a hard time believing this is going to get a print.
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe if they had something hardware related, it would have been like lined up perfectly for a showcase name. That's a good point.
Maybe. I think you could have called this a showcase, and I think it would have actually. Yeah,
I think so too.
Well, here's the problem, though. If you call it a showcase, then all of a sudden the expectation jumps even higher.
It does.
Although in fairness, like, I think it was pretty noteworthy that when they announce these things, they usually telegraph right away what's in the state of play, how long it is. So for them to say over an hour long, PlayStation Studios and third party, and then we also like saw the Konami announced the Silent Hill transmission for the same day, an hour later. It's like, oh, we got Konami stuff coming. So I think we all sort of knew we were walking into something pretty big.
Yeah, it's an impressive state of play, though. They went with that. I think expectations were set correctly. I think that's a lot of people are pretty happy. Like looking online, the vast majority of people are like, that was pretty good. Like usually these things end and people are mad. And in this case, though, no, people were happy to like get really excited, or just fine with it. There was no one who was like, my gosh, that was terrible. No, not really.
It was like a good range of software, like that's always like the issue with these live streams is that really for like a lot of people watching these, you're looking for one or two things. If like
right.
2 dozen, 3 dozen announcements, if there's nothing in there that like you want to play, like you're going to think it sucks. So it's a very good variety of games, I'd say.
Usually I think for something like this, a show where there's 25 to 30 announcements, if you come away with 3 or 4 that you're like, okay, those look pretty good, I think that's a good showcase then, because they're just scattershotting at that point if they're going to do that many. In this case, though, I feel like they hit most areas people were hoping to hear about. I mean, they did. There was a bunch of stuff from their first party that was here, or even partner projects that they had set up. Bunch of third party stuff. Things, by the way, that are coming out in the same week, like a few days. Like there were things that were out immediately, and I'd say there was a 2027. I saw that thrown around. It's like, but for the most part, everything that was here, and of course, we'll talk about the big, undated one at the end. For the most part, everything was this year, or 80%, I'd say, this year.
Yeah, I think the only 2027 games in here is Yoka Shinobi Ops. That's coming 27. And then Project Windlist, which they didn't even, doesn't even have a name. Like that's a 27 game minimum, which is the Foghorn Leghorn game, basically chicken protagonist. But it did. So yeah, let's touch on some of these big ones here. We have Kena Scars of Cosmora, which now is donned with a PlayStation Studios intro. So they are pretty much properly in bed with Sony now. I did read the copy on the bottom of the trailer. Looks like Ember Lab still has the IP. So it is still them, but I'm guessing SI is just fully publishing the game. That's coming PS5 and PC this year. Ember Lab was quiet for a while. I think a lot of people are actually wondering when they would do something.
This is a good way to start the show, though. I mean, this was great. And once it came up, I said, "Oh, Ember, what are they doing?" And then immediately it's like Kane. It's like, oh, all right, because they're showing it. It looks a lot bigger than the first one.
It does. I haven't even played the first one yet, but okay. There's seemingly much bigger areas, and this was like
I thought it was open world for a minute.
Yeah, well, and this is like a former film animation talent and studio, so it seems like they're really ramping up visual fidelity even further because the game already looked gorgeous as is.
The lighting looked a lot, but I noticed that, like the light bouncing off the characters and stuff, it looked higher quality. I mean, the first one, you could tell they were somewhat limited in scope or budget when you're playing the game, but they did a lot with what they had. But I do like what I'm seeing here, because it just looks like they say, all right, we got more backing with Sony. Let's do this again with Kena, build the franchise, of course, now it being a franchise. I'm curious about the combat, because there was the one thing about the game that threw me off. There seemed to be some weird timing thing with the parry that just never clicked with me. So they mentioned combat specifically with this in terms of refining it. So maybe it'll feel a bit different, or maybe the timing will be a bit on point for me anyway. So I'm happy. That to me, that kind of set the tone for the show immediately.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's great that they open with that. Go right into Ghost of Yotei Legends. So that's dated. That's coming March 10th. Same sort of ordeal. Free DLC rather for current owners. I would think they're going to split that off after the fact as well, but looks good. I mean, I played a little bit of Legends the first time. Not a whole lot though.
Yeah, they have like a demonic Yotei 6 that you take down. So that's interesting.
Very supernatural looking, which is weird for me because I'm like still in the middle of my playthrough. I played like 4 or 5 hours last night.
Okay. Good stuff.
Yeah. All right. Next up was the PC trailer for Death Stranding 2. It's coming out March 19th.
Everyone called this, right? I feel like everyone called this for a prediction.
What's funny, I thought that would have been at the TGAs, So if anything, it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of like a whatever thing. It's gonna get announced somewhere. after that, like this is all still like SIE stuff. So the next one was For Loop, gameplay for that. Bit of a more thorough explanation from the director Mike Booth. Man, this game, it's everyone still like just does not want to see more of this game, huh?
I don't know. You know what? It's got to be. It's got to be.
Is it just me? Like I think it actually looks compelling to a degree.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the fatigue from it all.
Maybe.
That's the thing. I'm looking at it, I go, okay, well, it's different looking, I guess, somewhat, but I just don't know if it's setting itself apart. The one thing they showed was that big enemy that was like a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, that looks kind of cool. But then it's still that 4-player, they say it's combat sandbox game. And I go, I mean, I've been playing a lot of Arc Raiders, and I go, I don't know if this would pull me away from Arc Raiders. So, or would it pull me away from what could end up being big with Marathon? You know, like that's the issue now. It's these live service games show up, and if they can't immediately pull people away with a good first impression, I don't know if they ever will. They did say this is kind of upcoming play test. Doesn't seem like it's coming out anytime soon. So, no time to, I guess, refine it and work on it with the community. I do like that though, because you mentioned this, Ryan, that Sony needs to start working more and more with the community ahead of launch for these games. This seems like a case where they're going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've learned. You can't just polish it and ship it and expect people to pay for it. You got to put something playable out there ahead of time and sort of shape it from there. Kind of like what Marathon's seeing. Like sentiment on Marathon is so much more, way better than it was previously.
I'm actually very interested in trying it out next weekend now. So like MVG's been talking it up to me. And I'm like, all right, I guess maybe we'll play this. I'll get it. I think he's going to play it on Xbox. Like, maybe I'll buy it there. We can play it something together just to see what it is with Marathon. And yeah, it seems like the sentiment around that game has gotten a lot better. So it can turn around. You can turn it around, but you can also end up like High Guard. So I don't know.
Yeah, like you mentioned. So that's an open playable test is happening like the last week of February going into March. So that'll be great for people to jump in. That's going to really determine though, like the ceiling on interest for this game if it's fully open.
Oh yeah, so
we'll find out. What was it? We had a Pragmata trailer. Capcom really wants you to know that game exists since coming out. That demo
did you play the demo?
Yeah, I like it. It's short. It's short. It's very wacky gameplay. I do like that. It's actually not like the enemies are so slow, but you can get overwhelmed very quickly solving the many puzzles every time.
I do like that though. It's very unique. I don't know, because when they first showed it, I said that looks really clumsy. But then when you actually use it, like it's not too bad actually, because it's pretty straightforward. Of go around this grid with the D-pad or anything up there, and then you get to but on the way there, you pick up chips or you go through different blocks in different directions, and it gives you boosts and power ups. I could see all kinds of cool things they can do with different bosses or abilities that you get. So good demo, 10 to 15 minutes, you know, just in and out, try out the different gameplay mechanics. And April 24th coming up.
After that was Resident Evil Requiem, another trailer for that game, which is shipping very soon.
I don't need to see any more.
There's like, I know there's like cool moments in that trailer that were like huge for an RE fan, but I'm sitting here going, I don't really know what I'm looking at.
Well, he goes to the old police station. That was, I'm sure, the big thing for a lot of people. He opens the doors, and you kind of knew that was going to happen, and it's like, boom, old police station. So
I thought that's what it was, but I just don't know that series enough. So I'm like, I think that was a pretty big moment, but I don't really know what it was.
I mean, you could start up Resident Evil 2 remake, and that's like the first real area he's in. You know, after you get through the initial intro for it, and you spend a lot of time there. So that clearly that's why it's going to be. I assume him going back a bit to the past, and they might play it up some for old Leon now. I'm ready for the game. I'm the only thing I'm disappointed that there's no demo. I thought they were going to do a demo for this, and they have not. So
have they done that for prior ones? Do I?
Sometimes they'll do like a time demo where you have 30 minutes to an hour to play through it, and then it shuts down or something. I was hoping they were going to do something as a promo for it. There's still time, but I think they're just like, nah, you're going to either buy it or not at this point. You know, Resident Evil. So,
well, I mean, people do seem pretty excited for it.
Yes, I'm buying it day one.
We have Legacy of Kain Defiance Remastered, showing more off on that game. There's like a prototype level or something that never released or whatever. The sequel, like an unfinished sequel or something. That looked pretty neat. Brigadine Abyss was announced. That's coming PS5 this year. Dead or Alive 6
have you
Round.
ever heard of Brigandine before?
No.
Dude, it's so funny. It was a PS1 game, and we had it for so long at the retro game store I used to run. And I remember looking at it all the time when I walked past. And this was back when retro games were cheaper. So this has been like 2011, 2012, something like that. I just remember always looking at it, and it was an expensive PS1 game back when things weren't crazy for PS1. And it's probably still somewhat expensive now. But that was the most random thing to see pop up at the State of Play, because it was just like this weird like memory glitch almost from like, oh man, I've not heard anyone say Brigandine in so long.
And I didn't know much about it, but it's coming this year, John.
What is it? I didn't see what it's worth on the PS. Okay, $70.
That's actually not as bad as I would have thought.
Oh, sorry, that's just the case and manual. It looks like if it's complete, it's $200.
Okay, that literally sounds that I was like, it's almost like a gen design game. Like those gen design ones are like 200 plus for like every one of them.
Oh, there's a map and everything. That's why. Disc only $65. Okay.
Yeah. Those PS1 it's an RPG, right?
Yeah, it's like a tactics RPG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like dude, all those on PS1, all of them, like 100 plus, every one of them. So I can't say I'm even remotely surprised by that. Dead or Alive 6 Last Round, kind of like an updated PS5 version, and then they ended that off by confirming a new one's coming as well.
What's the deal with Dead or Alive now? Like, I need the update on Dead or Alive, because Dead or Alive, when I was somewhat tuned into it, was extremely popular, but this was like the Xbox 360 days. PS3
Dude,
days.
I don't really know much about that franchise at all. Like I'm literally sitting there thinking, I'll watch Maximilian Dude later, and he'll probably give me the rundown on.
I think Dead or Alive 6 got like crushed. I like when it came out, because I feel like they did some weird stuff where it was free to play, and then they added a ton of characters in, and yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so DOA basically almost died. I thought that's what was going on, because I even looked at reviews for it. It's a 71 or something on Metacritic for the latest one. So I remember it was super, super popular back on like the 360. Dead or Alive 4, from I remember, was crazy popular. It looked insane on the 360. Before that, Dead or Alive 3 looked crazy. So it's always been a really good looking franchise in terms of visuals, but I just have not heard anyone say anything about Dead or Alive in, my gosh, it might be like 5 or 6 years now.
Well, what's always confused me about that franchise is how it's like obviously a fighting game, but then there's also Dead or Alive Extreme, which is a bunch of scantily clad women in bathing suits. I never understood that. Why is that?
Well, they realized back then. They realized back in the day, right, that it was a lot of teenage boys buying the game, and they said, how can we make more money? So they made a beach volleyball game to pretend like they were making a beach volleyball game.
but then to call it like Extreme, like what? Like what are you talking
Eventually
about?
They just dropped the facade. They were like, nah, we're just making it's just they're just in bathing suits. And people were like, okay.
Yeah, but I remember like growing up, right? Growing up, I was like, okay, like I get it. It's like, a game that's like selling sex to kids, but I never understood why it was called Dead or Alive. That sounds like
that's what the fighting game turned into.
I know, but here I didn't know that though. So it just sounded like the most badass name in the world. And I'm like, why does the name not even remotely fit what the hell the game is? Didn't get it at all.
It led to a lot of awkward conversations. That was always the thing. It was like, who's gonna buy Dead or Alive beach volleyball and make eye contact?
Well, like just imagine asking your parents for Christmas, yeah, I want Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball, and they're like, well, that sounds really intense, and then they see the box art and they're like, what the
yeah, it's M rated too. That's the funny part. Like, it's M rated, so it makes none of it lines up. It's really funny. And I think one of my friends got it for Christmas. Like, he asked for it and everything. Yeah. And I think because it was like he is like only child, like I think divorced parents or whatever. And like the dad got it for him, and there was no conversation about it. He unwrapped it at Christmas time, and they just sat there, and he's like, that was it. That's how he explained it. I was like, that's funny. Yeah, that's about right. I mean, if you could get away with it at the register, plenty of kids tried. I will tell you that plenty of them, even up to like well after the original Xbox, and then the 360 because they did the extreme stuff on there. Plenty of like teenage kids attempted it. So
yeah, okay, all right. Well, after that announcement, Control Resonant gameplay. Pretty thorough look at that game.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, if you just showed it, I would not think that's a Control game.
It's so different looking.
Yeah,
really different looking.
Not a bad thing. No.
It's not a bad thing. I loved Control originally, so my only concern is like I like when they take a really different approach, but when it's that different, like it becomes it's a different game. One was like very linear corridor, third person shooting. This is open world melee, like Gravity Rush elements. Like it's a way. Did
you see that the shift thing where they're like you change gravity? I'm like, oh wow, and then it's a rush. I'm like, wait a minute. So they were doing a thing where they shifted. I do like that though, because when he sticks and then they flip perception, the whole thing shifts. It looks pretty cool, kind of jarring. And I think they're gonna do that, the weird like mind bending stuff because of that as well in the Control universe. So I don't know. It looks cool. It looks cool.
It does look cool. Crimson Moon was announced. That's coming this year. Nothing. Okay.
I don't know. They showed it to me. I'm like, it looks like a medieval. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Beast of Reincarnation, more Game Freak.
How you feel about that over there?
The only thing this game, I don't want to say the only thing, but like genuinely, this game is getting so much attention because it's Game Freak.
Yeah, it is.
I think you put any other studio name on it, and it's going to be hard for it to like look like anything else. Especially with a lot of these like Chinese games coming out that like they all look very samey. Like there's so much like third person action, like action games, action combat.
Well, they said a lot of this is outsourced, so there's a chance that people who have worked on some of those games you're mentioning out of China also worked on this. So
I would imagine so. But like it's seemingly like not the only thing going for it, but it's doing a lot of heavy lifting when people talk about this game. Rayman 30th Anniversary Edition. This looks sick. Coming out tomorrow.
Digital clips coming through.
Yeah, I like if we're bringing back some classic games, if you're going to monetize a classic game, this is usually a great way to do it. Turn it into like a history lesson. It's got like a concept art and stuff like that you can walk through, and like 5 different versions of the game. That's
hey, shout out to MVG bringing Rayman back single-handedly.
He did do it all himself. He's the only man on the credits.
That's cool. Here's the thing, though. Physical, not till June.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I like that they at least put it out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I always appreciate that, just so people aren't like hounding the studio, like, where's the physical? But at least it's out there. Mina the Hollower coming spring 2026. Also a demo out tomorrow as well. So you can try that game out. There was a demo on Steam, so now PlayStation 5 will get one. It's got to be a new one, I would think.
Yeah, because they put it out on Switch 2 as well, and then they took it back. So they're doing these limited time demo things, just different platforms. So they did put it on PC, like you mentioned. They put it on Switch 2, and then I guess they're putting it on PS5. So
yeah. After that was Neva Prologue announced. So it's like a new Neva game that's before the events of the first game, which Neva is on PS Plus Extra this month, which goes live on the 19th, I think it is. So
17th.
So it lined up pretty well there. You can play that game or play Neva, then the Prologue, which is coming out soon. We talked about Shinobi. Yeah. So what did you think about this chicken game?
Well, hold on. What did you think of the Shinobi game? Shinobi Ops.
It threw me off because at the first like clip, it almost made it look like a third person action game. And then it went straight to an isometric viewpoint. And I'm like, oh, this is, you lost me.
I thought it was going to be like Tenchu. They were like, oh, kind of like Tenchu. And they were mentioned. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then you're right, it zoomed out. And then they got like QB vision from Madden. And they're like looking around with the cones of light. And I'm wondering, what is this? Yeah. It's not till 2027. I don't know. I was very excited for a second there. And then they started showing it, and I was like, man, that's too bad.
Yeah, well, I just didn't want to like get my hopes up, and right away I'm like, oh wait, this is totally different looking. So
yeah, kind of unfortunate.
That's the one of 2 games that's like not coming out for a while. So the next one was the Project Windless.
This is what a way to set yourself apart. Just give a massive chicken like two katanas and go crazy in the what is it? So the rest of this game, the tech they have looks pretty impressive. It's just the chicken is throwing everyone off because otherwise it's this massive field of what looks to be destructible landscape and tons of people running around in this battle.
Well, it's like that's like a Dynasty Warriors thing. Is like tons of on-screen enemies, and you're just like bashing through them like they're nothing. But I don't know what to really think of this game. I really don't. I mean,
they just showed a lot of action sequences. They just want to show you this big chicken as the main character.
Well, like as I'm watching, I'm like, well, this is a way to stand out because like you're not gonna get this confused with Black Myth, Where Winds Meet, Jenny God's Nezha, which was recently announced. Like you're not gonna get this game confused with anything.
No, yeah,
it's the chicken game.
Just pick different. If you have to make a game that's like this in the future, just pick an animal and swap it in for what would normally be a person.
Yeah, you could do that.
I mean, it works.
I guess, yeah, there's like viral tweets going off. So this game definitely stood out. There's no doubt about that. Star Wars Galactic Racer, new trailer.
I like the look of this.
Here. Not even a Star Wars guy said the same thing.
I like it.
Looks fun.
Feels like a new age, the pod racing game from the N64 back in the day. Feels like that, just a new age version of it. And the thing that's always difficult about these games is these pod racers or vehicles are supposed to be going 500 miles an hour. It's very difficult to convey that speed without you just immediately crashing. So it seems like they kind of got that worked. I mean, it looked pretty intense when they were flying around and going through corners and stuff. So I don't know. I like it. It looks cool.
After that was 007 First Light, showing a lot of this game.
It looks great. It looks great. The only issue we had is when they first showed it, the gameplay, the frame rate was all messed up. So all they have to do is fix, like if they just delayed it just to work on that is fine because it's not out till May. And I say that, but it's 3.5 months away. So they still have some time, but in development time, that's actually not that far. I think it's going to be good. Yeah, I just have seen enough of it now to where I think it's already on the calendar. It's marked down. I'm going to pick it up. So
there you go. I
don't need to see more. I'm ready. Just bring it out.
Well, this was when they start doing the Konami stuff, which was really I don't want to say weird, but interesting that they kind of gave Konami a proper introduction with SI's third-party person, and then we went right into Volume 2 of the Metal Gear Solid collection.
Is this a Konami showcase within the State of Play?
It felt like it because they got their own presentation.
They were setting up a stage. I saw that.
Yeah, pre-packaged in. So we have MGS2 or MGS Volume 2 collection coming August 27th. Pre-orders live. MGS Peace Walker, PSP, and as expected, excuse me, I've still got a cough. MGS4 leaving the PlayStation 3.
End of an era.
End of an era. We all saw it coming, but man, it's done.
They said
it's done.
Up like there's gonna be a rendering resolution is gonna be higher, better frame rate. All that stuff is set up for Metal Gear Solid 4 on this. So this is gonna be awesome. And of course, Brian, new trophies.
It is new trophies. The MGS games are really hard to platinum though, I think.
Are they? I feel like they might have thought about it for this one. Maybe I don't know.
It's still Konami.
Yeah, that's true. They also have Peace Walker is a good one. They did say that this Peace Walker is the one I believe that was already in the Xbox 360 HD collection, and then they also have Metal Gear Ghost Babel, which is the first handheld game that they had on the Game Boy Color. That's very expensive, by the way, on eBay. That game is like $150 or something.
Yeah.
So that's also, so they have those 3 games. They have some extra stuff as well in like the museum or library. This whole package just basically is
it's MGS4.
Yeah.
I feel like all the work went into MGS4 because it's PS3 code that they have to port.
Yeah, that's
got to be that.
I'm sure it wasn't cheap to get Metal Gear Solid 4 done, I'm sure, but I'm excited for this. This is great. It's been stuck on the PS3 for so long, and you know that this game is still going to look great on new platforms. It looked great on the PS3, but we always looked at it and went, man, that thing would be cool if it was 60 frames without needing some crazy PC to emulate it. Here we are. It's finally happening, August 27th. So that is an awesome end of summer release.
John, this means we can finally, after all these years, call Kojima a liar, because he said you need to buy a PlayStation 3 to buy that game.
You remember that story though that came out that they had ported the game to the 360?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, which was funny, and they never released it. But you're right, he was basically like, oh, the cell processor. They did a whole thing about that. It was like a whole cutscene that they made up with them explaining it in game. It's just funny.
That was the big headline. You need to buy a PS3 if you want to play that game. And now you can finally throw your PlayStation 3 away, which you shouldn't do. If you're going to get rid of it, donate it to me.
Nah, that's had a huge breakthrough for the PS3. I modded my Super Slim.
I know, John, but we don't do that around here. I keep
the Raspberry Pi, man, keeps winning.
I keep my consoles stock pure.
I have stock ones too, but this is like sometimes you got to run the experiments, man. I got the Super Slim. It's actually right over here. I was ripping my PS3 games to it, not downloading games. I was ripping my PS3 games, ones that I own to it. 1 terabyte hard drive, and I think I'm going to fit a little over 50 or so games onto the hard drive.
It's not bad. Good. That's not bad. Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
PS2 games in there too. Super Slim can play PS2 games now.
It's true. Yeah. That's a big PS3 breakthrough for that Super Slim. It was locked down for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, they're starting to overclock the cell processor now. Did you see that?
I watched the scene. I just don't care. I don't ever do those things personally.
Hold on. How'd you get home onto your PlayStation 3?
Well, like if I have to do those things, then I'll do them. Yeah.
It's like if you have to buy digital, you'll buy this.
No, it's I don't want to undermine how important it is to like load up custom firmware and then either reinstall for private servers or back up what you own. Like I totally get it. Just an old-fashioned purist. So I try to keep things stock. For MGS, though, we do have a final update for the MGS Volume 1 collection. They're calling it the final update. They're basically saying, stop asking us to fix this. So they're increasing the resolution on those games. I think all of them, basically.
It looked better, like when they were showing the comparisons. I think that's out. I think that update is out today.
I didn't even play the Volume 1 collection. I knew it had problems, but when they were showing before and afters, I'm like, oh, you shipped it like this? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it looked like that.
It looked like if you had it in a PS1 emulator and didn't do anything to it, like no up-render, nothing, is how it looked. So it was the true PS1 experience.
That's not bad, but it also it'd be nice to have something.
I mean, if you're playing on a 65-inch TV, you're gonna count the pixels. So
like the actual pixel will be like a full square. Like you actually.
It was like that.
Yeah. That's true. So unironically. One of my favorite announcements or a trailer for a game, Darwin's Paradox, new trailer for that.
All right, what's going on here? Because it was really funny because they went Metal Gear Solid right into Darwin's Paradox.
I think it was just appropriate to showcase that there's metal Snake content, and I don't know, maybe it was a good tie-in. I'm not even this game looks so goofy and fun to me, so demo tomorrow for that as well. It's the the side-scrolling octopus game, for those that are wondering what the hell we're talking about. No, but really the big Konami thing, John, finally, Castlevania Belmont's Curse was revealed. Coming this year. This year, pre-order's already up. What was it, $40? $40?
I think so, yeah. It looks cool. They got Evil Empire and Motion Twin involved for this. It makes sense. They've already done some... I think they did some of the Castlevania stuff for Dead Cells as well, but they've done Dead Cells, so it's like Konami obviously is partnering with a bunch of different studios to make Castlevania or Silent Hill or whatever else. So this makes sense. I mean, if you're going to do a 2D Castlevania, you get a studio that knows what they're doing when it comes to 2D games. So it looks great though. It looks very good.
It looks cool. I'm surprised it took them this long to finally get something Castlevania going.
It's been years. This Castlevania game, to my understanding, has been in development for years. It's been worked on for a while. So, and it's coming out this year. So again, another thing where they're announcing a game and it's out in 6 to 8 months or something like that.
Not bad though. I do like that if they're going to at least announce it. Hey, it's not far away. You'll be able to play it this year.
Mhm.
Same for Silent Hill. Silent Hill Townfall trailer for that as well. We had the transmission shortly after, so saw a decent portion of that game.
I didn't get a chance to see that yet. I need to check out
No,
the
yeah,
last one.
like different pro tag, different location, first person from what it looks like. I didn't see too much of the transmission either, but it's like a very different Silent Hill game. It's like they captured the same like feeling of it too. Like I really like that it can sort like that's kind of what Silent Hill can be. Obviously, is different pro tags and a different creepy town. But dude, that first trailer, I'm like, yo, I'm into it.
The first person. See, I
Yeah.
think first person works really well for horror games. You know what game came to mind though when they were showing the combat? Dude, I was getting flashes of Condemned.
Oh,
That's what hit me.
Condemned. Man, I haven't seen Condemned. That's the last one was on PS3 360, right? Was it
Yeah.
just
Condemned
the
2.
second game? That's it?
Yeah.
Man. Yeah,
Yep.
I forgot about that game.
Yeah, Condemned 1. I remember that was such an impact when the 360 first came out. And for some reason now whenever I see a character in first person hit something with a 2x4, I think Condemned every time.
That's where your mind goes is Condemned.
Every time. Every time.
Wow. All right. Well, yeah, that's coming this year too. And Konami said they want to, they're aiming for it to be annual. So I'm not sure if I'm still totally behind that idea, but that would be our 2026 Silent Hill.
Konami though still rolling.
Dude, I think they're back.
They got another one though, Rev Noir.
Yes, Rev Noir is announced in development. They're very particular, but I guess this will be another 27 game or or beyond. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so as I'm watching it, I sort of disassociated past this trailer because I thought Silent Hill looked so good, but then I went back and I'm like, oh, this could be something too. Rev Noir.
Yeah, I'm still not really sure what because they said it's a JRPG title as
Yeah.
they described it, and when they showed the combat, it looked like an action game. So I'm not. I mean, who knows how they would describe it then? I don't think it's turn based. I guess not. But it looked weird. People were like dissolving or something. I'm not sure. They were trying to describe it to us in terms of plot or just the tone of the game. I don't think it came through that well, but looks all right, I guess. Interesting. Different for Konami. I was not expecting Konami after showing off Silent Hill, Metal Gear, and Castlevania to show us a game that looks like it's out of like dot hack or anime or some kind of game like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think something to pay attention to at the very minimum. Like you've got my attention. Let's see more of it.
Is Konami officially back now though?
Dude, I feel like they've been putting out like really compelling software. And for a long time they were kind of a laughing stock.
Yeah, the Metal Gear Survive stuff didn't help them any.
It was just like the rhetoric around this publisher for a long time was like, oh, they just care about slot machines, It's like, dude,
yeah,
they're putting out good games.
So I see people who say they're not back. I think they are back. Like I think they are. And I think they've got Silent Hill figured out. I guess for people out there who don't think they're back, do they need to create, because we're going to get a new Silent, or there's going to be a new Silent Hill, obviously, new Castlevania. Do they have to figure out Metal Gear, like a new Metal Gear game that's not Metal Gear Survive level? Like they have come up with like a good Metal Gear game. Will that then convince people that Konami's back? Is that the last piece of the puzzle?
Dude, I would be inclined to say like they need to walk away from Metal Gear, but just try and find something different. Well, and this is the problem with all published. Like nobody wants to take risks, but we gotta like move. Metal Gear is so synonymous with Kojima, for example.
Yep.
I think you've already parted ways. Like you have to walk away from that franchise and I think do something truly different. I don't know if that has to be another tactical espionage game because the guy you broke up with is doing that anyway, and that's going to be new. I think you just have to find something else.
I think it's too, I feel like the property is too valuable still for Konami to walk away from. And because there were discussions that they were training people internally right now to literally carry the franchise further. So I think they're going to they're going to take another shot at it. Just don't do something weird like Survive. Just stick to the tried and true formula. You could make a new character, like when Raiden showed up. You can make a new character and have Snake be a supporting role or something like separately, because you can jump around in the time cycle and like it doesn't have to be further into the future. It could be somewhere in the middle, in the past. So I think they can do it. It's just just don't do survive. Don't do some weird thing where the people are time traveling and there's zombies and
I would almost think trying to do a new Metal Gear and capturing the magic of that franchise again is like more risky than just trying something new. I really think that's probably where they're at right now.
They're making Rev Noir. They're doing something new.
Well, I don't know if that fills the Metal Gear hole.
Oh,
exactly. Yeah. In fairness, yeah, Rev Noir, yeah, that is new. You're right. But if we're talking about the sort of the trifecta here, like I think, maybe more remakes, obviously, go ahead and do those.
Sure.
And
Metal Gear Solid 1 needs a remake.
Wrap up these collections, but I think you don't do a new entry. I don't think Konami will do that, but that's what I would prefer.
They could definitely remake 1 and then 2 if they really wanted. Like they could do that.
All right, John, what about John Wick? The John Wick game.
Has there ever been a movie that makes the most sense to turn into a video game like John Wick? John Wick like feels like a video game in movie form.
I feel like this has the opportunity to have the same fun factor as like Stranglehold. Yeah. Like just give me a fun movie. Like give me a fun movie game.
Yeah. That's they don't have to. I think sometimes these studios overthink things and you don't have to with this. It like the foundation is set for people who know John Wick. Like you don't have to go, how do we sell this thing and make it different? It's got to be a tactical RPG. It's like, no, it's just a third person action game. That's it. That's all you got to do. And it looks like they're doing that. They had, because originally they showed the cinematics in the beginning. I said, is that what we're going to see? They had flashes of gameplay and it kind of looked, it looked scripted, sure, but it looked like what we would expect it to be. He's beating this dude, throws guy that punches him in the face against the wall and he's shooting people and not necessarily Stranglehold looking completely, but I get what you're saying, the same vein of he's just going to light everybody up.
Exactly. All we need is just a fun, like sandboxy game. Like don't take itself too seriously. We don't have to approach Naughty Dog levels of storytelling. Right. Like just give me like a sort of Stranglehold. Yeah. Put in goofy mechanics that just let me pepper these dudes. That's all I need.
Video game it up.
And don't overstay or like just ship a fucking 8-hour campaign and call it a day. Yep. I don't want anything else, but we'll see.
Give me open world with base building elements.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No.
They fucking would do some shit like that too,
Just make the game. That's it. It's the first real shot at it. I think it's Saber who's doing it. Just 8 to 10 hour game, like you say, action based. Don't overthink it. You're probably not going to make a game of the year, kind of get that. Just make something fun and sell a bunch of copies as even if it comes out and it's an 80, it's like, okay, that's a fun game. And it has John Wick's name attached to it. It's probably going to do well then if it's not a train wreck of a game. That's really what it comes down to. If it's a good game, not like game of the year, but like good game, it has John Wick attached to it. It's fun. You're probably going to sell millions of copies. Yes.
Yeah. That's what I would want it to be. I don't know if it will be. After that was the marathon stuff. Then after that was some, as expected, PS Plus Extra and Premium announcements. For Extra, we do know that Big Walk, that's the from the same studio that did Untitled Goose Game, that's launching into PS Plus Extra this year. And then for Premium, we have Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection, PSP, and then Time Crisis, PS1, with gyro aiming. So DualShock 4 and the DualSense, you can get the gyro aim for Time Crisis. That's pretty cool.
It is. I saw it pop up and I was like, are they going to make us play this with the analog sticks? And they, you have gyro. I'm like, oh, okay, good.
That's cool. I like that. I think that's pretty neat. Still severely depressing that's it, but it's premium.
They did put out the PlayStation blog that had the other games as well. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, this month is going to be Disney Pixar Wall-E for the PlayStation
2. Okay, so I remember that game when it came because we had it up on the wall for multiple systems, and I'd look at the back of the box, but I've never played the game, seen the game played. This is one of the things that I think is funny about PlayStation Plus Premium. I would never ever think to load that game up in an emulator, right? But here it is, and it's about to just show up almost like just the same, just show up on my PS5 because you press a button, 2 gigabytes, okay, whatever, download it. I almost am thinking, you know what, maybe I'll just fire that thing up, just see what it is.
Wait, but John, I'm pretty sure we already have the PSP version.
I didn't play that one either, but I would play it on the PS2.
I think we've got the PSP. The PSP one's been up, and so now we have the PS2 one.
Got to play the PS2 one though.
I could be wrong. Just to quickly cover.
Like,
oh, I don't know if it even had. They might have patched it. They might not have. I couldn't.
Who's got the platinum and Wally? Those are the real questions right there.
It's probably pretty simple. While we're here, you do point out, yeah, we have the full extra lineup. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is a big headline one in there, so that's going into extra. Not bad. That's a few years after the game came out. And you've got Neva, like we mentioned earlier, Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, Season, A Letter to the Future, Monster Hunter Stories, and then the sequel, Wings of Ruin, Venba. I've played that before. It's very short, but nice, heartwarming game. Echoes of the End, Enhanced Edition, and Rugby 25. So that's your extra lineup. After that, though, Saros gameplay. I love everything they're showing and saying about this game. Now, I know I'm biased. But if I could just explain myself a little bit here, I think they're doing everything right from Returnal. I think a lot of people played Returnal, got their ass kicked. They're doing all the right things to make this more accessible, which is a more in-your-face progression system, which should hopefully ease people through it. It's got kind of a proper hub area between runs. It's like a lot of it's out of the Hades playbook.
I was gonna say it looks very Hades-like, yeah.
Very because like there's modifiers in between runs, so like it's approachable. Sure, you can make it easier. You can make it way harder too by adding modifiers when you go into the next run, which should ramp up your rewards. But in between each run, you can also have these narrative beats. So every time you die, you might be able to just chill for a few minutes, talk to a few people, open up new lines of dialogue. I think they're doing and saying all the right things. Now it's just a matter of execution. So this is still like next to GTA 6. This is my most anticipated game easily this year. I can't wait.
I mean, it looks good. It does. So the hub world area, it does look like it is going to be very important, obviously, because talk about how you'll unravel parts of the story as you go talk to survivors. But I think there are going to be a lot of people who realize, okay, this is not Returnal. I can get through this because it's they show the skill tree and quick glance, it does look like you'll be able to power your person up pretty well. And they even showed it looked like a balanced scale where you can make some parts easier and some parts more difficult. You can teleport to the biome that you want to go to if you've already gotten there immediately. So there's not the Returnal run where you have to start in one spot, go through multiple biomes to survive your way to the one you're trying to get to. I know there were ways to shortcut around, but it was still starting at the same place and running a redundant amount of time. Like most of the time you're going through the same area over and over again. And it can get tiresome for people who died a lot, which was most of us. So it was this is good. Again, it looks like they just took a lot of the feedback from Returnal and reflected on it and made changes for a game that it might end up being easier, but I think it's also going to end up being a lot different than Returnal.
I would say, yeah, it's starting to look more different than Returnal for sure.
So that's fine. That's the idea.
Yeah, nail on the head. I think they've got it figured out. So looking forward to that. After that, though, we have Marvel Tokon. Finally, more stuff for Tokon. Release date. The game showed up for pre-order on like Steam prior to the show, so we knew we were going to get all these details, which we've got them now. So 20 playable characters at launch. It's got a proper episode mode, like a single player mode that's going to get you into the mechanics and teach you about some of the lore as well. But we've got 3 new characters from X-Men. That is, which ones did they reveal today? Wolverine, Magic, and what was the other one?
Danger.
That's right. Danger.
They did show they showed Storm in there too.
Yeah, Storm. Yeah.
So they showed Storm, Magic, Wolverine, Danger. Those ones. So
yeah,
it looks cool. I'm just not great at fighting games, so it's like
coming out August 6th, John. August 6th. You will need a PSN account for PC.
That's how they get you, huh? Okay.
They get you. It's like, well, the controversy's over. Now it's like, hey, sign up for PSN. Yeah, I'm obviously not a big fighting game person either. So I'll defer to people that know more about it than I do.
I do wonder what that single player looks like, though. I assume it's going to be a couple hours long, and that'll be it.
You think it'd be like kind of an arcade thing where it's like, that wouldn't be that because it's 4 fucking characters in one go, right? So it's like,
yeah. So if there's 20 characters if all the characters in a match are different, you're going to see almost half the roster in that match.
probably like 4 predetermined characters that like synchronize together in like one story. So you've got like what, five campaigns to do, little campaigns.
I don't know what like that number of characters, what that actually, how that compares to most fighting games. Is 20? I don't know if 20's in the middle. I don't know if that's, I assume that's not a lot because we have Marvel vs. Capcom 2 that had like a stupid amount of characters. But I also don't know if that's like a small amount of character. I'm not sure where that falls in the hierarchy of fighting games.
It sounds little, if only because it's a 4v4.
Right.
Like that's like that's gotta be, you gotta be fighting the same people over and over again for 4v4.
That's what I thought. So they're saying 20 is low. I thought that sounded low. For a game that's if it was 1-on-1, I'd go, okay, well, plenty of matchups then. And it's going to take you a while to work through the entire roster, but not necessarily 4v4. So I mean, they say they're going to be adding characters. The only thing I can imagine is that, man, that Marvel license is probably expensive. So
very likely
they're giving you what it looks like 20 is really like 40 something in an original fighting game, or you know what I mean? So I think that's part of it. And they're going to want to sell you the others, obviously. So eventually, I bet you this gets to 36 or so fighters, but you're paying along the way to build a complete edition of the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's Tokon. And then we have the show closers.
Were you hold on. Were you concerned when Marathon came up that was the closeout?
No, I wasn't actually.
Okay.
I assumed more was coming.
Okay. I was seeing some rumblings of, oh my gosh, is Marathon going to close this thing out?
No, because they said more than an hour. I think Marathon showed up 50 minutes in or something.
The 10-minute Concord closeout.
No, if anything, I was thinking maybe Tokon was it, but
I thought Tokon could have closed it out too. Yeah, because maybe they had some cool big reveal for the character, and here's the release date.
Yeah, but I don't think you close on Tokon. This is definitely a show closer.
Mm-hmm.
So TC Carson, the original voice of Kratos, shows up here to announce God of War Trilogy Remake.
Here's a question.
Yes.
Why is he not just running all of State of Play?
TC Carson.
He's like the most interesting person in the entire State of Play, like outright trailers, the whole thing. They just have him do he's just be the host of all of them.
Well, I don't think you can just have TC Carson open the thing without the announcement as well. So I think you kind of have to stick him near the God of War announcement. And if it's a show closer,
I mean, just like in the future. The future.
And I would totally be behind TC Carson voicing every State of Play from this point on. That would be hype as hell. Not to throw shade at like Sid Schumann or Kristen Zatani or Ben what's her name?
Yeah, but if you had TC Carson do it, it wouldn't sound like shade. They'd be like, okay, thanks, Carson. Thanks, Mr. Carson.
Well, I'm saying, like, not to kick all the other SI presenters out, but I mean, yeah, I would take TC. So they didn't show anything of this. This is very much an early, like, hey, we want to put this out there, but don't bother us kind of thing. Apparently, it's in-house at Santa Monica.
Okay.
Somebody's got to be helping them. I mean, games do a lot of outsourcing, but they only put Santa Monica on this for the studios. But they said early development. They ask for patience. It'll be a while until there's more information. But they say when there is more, they want to show a lot. My read here is a minimum year, 2 years, maybe two, like within 2 something years, they'll show like a very substantial amount of footage.
I think this is do you think it's possible this is a PS6 launch first year title then, and PS5 like cross gen?
I mean, yeah, but I think that kind of goes without saying for anything that's like in development now, right?
Here's my other thing. The way they presented it was interesting. God of War trilogy remake, right? That's obviously, I think that's a code name. Obviously, that's not the actual title. We figure they'll call it something else. Do you think these are 3 separate games?
No, I don't think
Do you
so.
do you think they're Final Fantasy VII remaking this thing a bit to where I mean that reverse, I should say, from it, where that they split it into 3? Do you think they mashed these 3 games together and it's one game?
I could see I think at this point there's a lot of speculation on how they do it because well, one, I didn't think they were remaking these games.
No, I thought this would have been
Now,
a remaster situation.
and I think that's the right call. If there's anything to remake, it is the first 2 games, and sure, the third as well. 3 doesn't really need it, but also like we're at this point in the game where a lot of publishers are remaking PS3 360 games. They don't feel that old, but hindsight's everything. Like some of these games are creeping up on
How
15
old
years old.
is God of War 3's that's 15 years old?
Yeah, because it came out in
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, yeah, they've got high frame rate, high res versions on PS4, but with high res textures and ray tracing, like obviously God of War 3 can look fucking beautiful if you remake it. I didn't think we were getting remakes, but hell yeah. God of War 1 and 2, I mean, God of War 1 is short. It's a short game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think if you're selling that game a la carte, you're not doing it for 60. I don't think, but it is SIE. I think the right path here is doing a big bundle, one game, and maybe try to make it seamless.
I think so.
Yeah.
They can't call it God of War. We already have God of War.
I mean, it seemed very deliberate with, the teaser they put out was 1, 2, 3 trilogy.
Yep.
The read to me is like that's a package.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. That's interesting approach though, because I mean, God of War going and right into 2 and 3, like it could all flow together well, and they set it up. I don't know, they cut some stuff out, merge some things together, add more context in certain spots. So it is, I think remake is the right term because I think they're gonna, I guess, rephrase certain parts as well into one, so it's all just one game, one long running entry here. So
yeah,
I like it though. That is what a
yeah.
great idea.
Hey, that's the thing. We have no idea what kind of liberties they may or may not take.
Right.
It could be a remake like Demon Souls, where it is the same goddamn game. Like it's mechanically the same game too. Or they take some liberties and they will make some refinements and maybe adjust the pacing of certain things. We have no clue what direction they're going in.
But you think it's still the same camera angle and everything?
Oh, you're not that's not a remake. Isometric viewpoints for 1 and 2 and 3.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
I think so. Yeah. Would you think otherwise, or?
I feel like you have to leave it isometric, but I'm also not the one fronting the bill for this. And they're like, well, look what these God of War games did, where we went to shoulder level, and you know what I mean?
I mean, I think if you do over the shoulder, you're making different games. Just like everything about them is different. I mean, isometric. Well, it's like yeah, true. Well, isometric games are also like designed in a very specific way.
That's true.
The camera's fully controlled. That you can't over the shoulder completely warps the whole thing. You're not even remaking it. That you're making a new game.
This also seems like a great idea for God of War right now, because I think a lot of people are also trying to figure out what would even be next for the franchise. And now you have this remake that's most people are just going to be looking forward to. So it gives them a little bit of time to work out what would be the next big entry for God of War after this. And who knows where, also depends on what Cory Barlog's game is exactly. Is it something in the God of War universe? Is it something completely different that'll blindside us a bit? We still have to get that figured out. So missing some information there. Bit of a blind spot on that one.
Mm-hmm. So they announced the trilogy, which that was the surprising thing.
Yes.
The unsurprising thing, which TC Carson said it was a surprise, is God of War Sons of Sparta. This, ladies and gentlemen, is our 2D, not 2.5D. Did not expect the art presentation of this game, but it's a 2D action platformer, and it's a story focusing on young Kratos with his brother Deimos. and it's out now, which SIE doesn't really do. We don't really get shadow drops from SIE. And as me and John said at the top of the show, we did get about 15 to 20 minutes in on the game.
Yeah, I wanted to play more of it, but it was just cutting it close. So I got to the first campsite area, which you fight a Cyclops in the beginning to start up, and seeing it in the trailer, the way it looked, and then now seeing it in person on the big OLED, it looks better than what it was presented. I will say that. The art style threw me off. I was not expecting that art style, and it's like the the pixel art 2D style. And I think it threw me off because I was expecting. I'm trying to think of a good way to phrase it, because I want to say something higher quality. Maybe something closer to like Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, where you could tell it's 3D. You can tell it's 3D models on a 2D plane, so that they can swing the camera around as they need to for that 2.5D look. Maybe I was kind of thinking it would have been more like PS2 Kratos, just like newer technology and stuff for it. That's kind of what I was envisioning. Not, here's very, very young Kratos and he's using a spear and running around as like basically, teenager almost,
Yeah, it definitely threw me off. I like it a lot.
I mean, I've played 15 minutes or so, but it's it
Well,
controls better than I was thinking. It kind of looked a little floaty in the trailer. But so far it's controlled well, I think.
well, I like the art style. I like more than
Mhm.
because I was expecting what you were expecting. To me, this was a pleasant surprise, if only because like it's so uncharacteristically God of War. That's not
Mhm.
typically what we expect from the franchise, and I don't know. Maybe it's just more of a wanting something refreshing kind of thing. But I was like, "Oh,
Sure.
you're going like for a pixel look." Like, oh, all right, I cool. Like I'm fine with that. The first 20 something minutes I played, I will say I didn't care for the traversal. It doesn't feel very like snap. Like some Metrovanias like that's everything is like moving around that map.
Yeah.
And right off the bat, I didn't really love that. It seemed a little bit
Yeah.
too clunky to like get over ledges and hop over a ledge. I mean, you can only jump right now. I took a look at like the skill tree real quick, and maybe as that builds out, because that's
Is
the
there
whole
a
thing
double
with
jump in there? I need the double
I
jump.
don't know. I don't know yet. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Metroidvanias is that you're not going to be able to get something the first time. You're always backtracking and using what you've unlocked. So it might get more refined. My initial thought was that it feels kind of clunky to get around, and combat's obviously very basic too. But I can't speak on that till you unlock more things.
We need more weapons or
Yeah.
abilities and skill. Yeah, like right now I'm just poking things with a spear. Although I get to get a quick glimpse at some of the customization for weapons, and it looks like you're gonna just upgrade different parts of your spear right now. But then it also looks like there are slots for more weapons, other spears maybe. So it's a lot of questions there on that. But first, immediate like 15-minute impressions. I'm hopeful for the game.
Mhm.
I think it's cool just to have this kind of approach in the God of War franchise, where normally it'd be like, no, we got to go for super high production, 3D, top tier visuals, and this is I just a more refined game. But it's also something that I've kind of hoped that some of these big publishers and studios would try, not necessarily going for the $300 million project every time, doing something a little smaller and then pricing it accordingly. I know some people had some whiplash because it was $30, and I get it, because it's, again, you can see how people are probably thinking it's a $20 game, $15 game. But it's technically, in a world of $70 games, at $30, it feels cheaper than, or probably about the same as what 20 or 25 felt when the $60 game was consistent.
No, I think you're exactly right. I 100% agree, and that maybe that's the other part of why I like the presentation a lot. Like, it actually felt like the whiplash for me when I launched the game was seeing the PlayStation Studios intro, and every game has every PS Studio game has the logo animation, and within the animation sweeping through of the PlayStation buttons forming, you see that particular game. Like
Mhm.
animation, you know what I'm talking about, John?
Mhm.
And it like the whiplash for me was seeing like a pixel art looking game in that animation, and that felt deeply refreshing to me because PlayStation Studios is so synonymous now with like AAA 9-figure epics, And I love those games, but like this felt like a sort of breath of fresh air of like, I totally want to see them do more stuff like this with their other IP. And the best way to do that is finding other talent. So like this is a PS Studios game, sure. It's developed by Mega Cat Studios, kind of out of left field because they've been around for a while. They're a very small team out of Pittsburgh. It's like 30 something staff. They've done a handful of smaller projects, but it's like they've sort of proven themselves. And I think that's the great thing that SI can do. Find some of these smaller teams and fit in these niche storytelling vehicles and very different kinds of gameplay. That's why I'm so into this so far. Even if it initially I'm kind of clunky on the traversal.
That feels very Yoshida coded.
Yeah, it definitely harkens back to an older way for PlayStation to make games. So I'm all for it.
This is funny. Where's the Switch version? That was a rumor going into this, is that there was a potential multi-platform release for this game.
Yeah.
And you know what? I will say this, Ryan, when I first saw it, they showed it, I said, ooh, that actually might be multi-platform. That kind of looks like a game they're going to drop on the Switch right now.
Yeah, that rumor was from Nate. He said he heard about it like last year, basically. That was the rumblings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing, like, do you think this would, because this sounds very much like a Lego Horizon situation.
Yeah, I don't know. Would anyone really mind?
I mean, if it was like PC and Switch too, I think, and like it comes like much later or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems to make sense to me. I mean, it's just a tough environment. These games got to make money. So I think that's maybe a way to do it.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this and, I mean, I know it says God of War. It doesn't scream God of War at you. When you see it, you're like, oh, okay, it's early days for Kratos, and he's not running around with the dual chains ripping people in half and stuff. It's I mean, I think it's even teen rated. Am I wrong?
Oh, I didn't check the rating.
I feel like it might be. I had to double check, but so far you're stabbed a Cyclops. You haven't done anything too crazy, but what I'm saying is it's a more refined God of War game that would work well, I think, on multiple platforms like PC. I mean, this is a Metroidvania game. Metroidvanias clearly work well on PC and they work well on the Switch. Like they're just Metroidvania games all over the place there. So I think it is that Lego Horizon scenario, like you're saying, to where it's not the big AAA God of War, it's an offshoot God of War that could spark interest in the larger games that are only on PlayStation. So what if although on PC, it might spark interest in just going to Steam and buying the God of War game. But the idea being, hey, if they're on Switch or Switch 2 and they play this, they really like it, maybe they look into a PlayStation 5 or even 6 in the future and dive into God of War,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, as I was playing it, I'm like, this might be a good Portal experience.
Radix says it's rated T. It is rated T. Thanks, Rad. What were we saying? It's a good Portal experience?
It might be good to play on Portal. It feels conducive to a portable environment, but based on like the sort of kinetic gameplay of how it might pace out later when I play more of it, and then maybe not. It really depends. Worth pointing out for the game, TC Carson, he is voicing as an adult Kratos. He's like narrating the story, which I think is super cool. So for like lore geeks on the game, like that's going to be like my fun for it. And what else was I going to say about this game?
Kind of reminds me of Dexter, the original Sin show, where they had old Dexter narrating for young Dexter. That's
yeah, it's neat. Like I'm like mostly positive about it, but got to put a lot more time into it.
I wonder how we'll see how that platinum looks for you though. You'll have to let me know how it goes.
We have the game's so fresh. Nobody has any idea content wise how.
It said there were 36 trophies, so it's okay. It's okay. It's not terrible.
Trophies will never indicate exactly how long it is.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like Neo 3, I'd like 30% of the trophies unlocked with 10 hours. So I don't know. Who knows?
Trophies are trophies. They can make them whatever they want in theory. They can turn it. There are trophies that make 8-hour games, 100-hour games. It depends on how they write the list. They could make them a huge pain in the ass. But that is the state of play, which, as we said earlier, I think this is one of the best ones they ever did.
It's very good. It's although, so here, I guess the other question is this state of play really good, or was the bar for state of plays lowered over the last couple of years to where people went in with very low expectations, and this was an above average state of play, but not an incredible one, but it's being viewed as an incredible one because of that bar placement?
Oh, that question. I don't know. I can only answer for myself
Mhm.
because that's the thing. Like generally speaking, I find that I'm always I enjoy these way more than most people.
Well, the internet
So
hates most of the stuff. That's
I
the running
know.
joke. It's like, does it like for Halo when that got shown, the joke was, does anyone hate Halo more than Halo fans? So it's like that, right? Whereas,
Yeah. Well, that's I can only answer for myself. To me, this was a very strong presentation. If anything, I think it says a lot that the general consensus so far seems to be, hey, this was a good state of play.
yep,
But the bar wasn't low to me. Like I like that state of plays run the gamut. We can have ones that are based on one game. We can have ones that focus on Japan only games. We could have some that have no first party, some first party. Like, dude, it's a live stream for video games. They're fucking advertisements. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's the issue with these live streams. People are looking for like one or two things personally, maybe as a fan of an old IP that, like, and they'll be pissed off no matter what. I can't speak to the wider audience. I can say shit was pretty good.
it was a good state of play. It was. It's probably the best one they've done in. I'm trying to think what's the big state of play that stands out.
It wasn't the February one last year pretty good, and then the
'Cause-
one late last year, I want to say, or 2024. So, like a handful of them were actually like again like much better than that 2023 showcase.
Yeah, but this one I feel like is I mean it's more than it was like an hour and 10 minutes, and the pacing was good. It didn't feel like any parts of it really dragged on, and they had legitimately good announcements spaced out to where it felt like every 5 or 10 minutes there was something that was like, "Oh wow, that's okay. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. That's really cool. That's fun. I'll check that out. Yep, I'm going to buy that." So it was a pretty consistent mix of we're going to spend 5 minutes on this game because it is a big game like we saw with Control, right? Or Marvel Tokon or whatever. And then we're going to rattle off a few games pretty quickly that are neat, like Brigandine. Didn't think I'd hear that going into it, or Rayman, or those kind of games. And then, okay, now we're back, and Konami's going to take over for a little bit. Here's Silent Hill, and here's Castlevania, here's Metal Gear Solid 4, and then we're back to Sony. So they did a good job with pacing and keeping you engaged, I think. And I do believe that's part of it, because when we go back not that long ago, there was like 15 minutes of Concord, and you get to a point where you lose people. But that didn't happen here. It was a pretty consistent mix, I'd say.
Well, the other issue is you can only announce these games once. Like you can't do a presentation like this all the time. You simply can't. Especially when there's also Summer Game Fest, the TGAs, and Xbox Developer Directs and Nintendo Directs. Like there's only so much room to always have like mind-blowing, like can't believe what I just witnessed live streams. They simply have to be an every so often kind of thing.
Yeah, but I also think you can have a mostly mediocre show up until the end and have two big announcements, and that's enough for people to like go, "Oh yeah, this was a great presentation." Like it's all it takes. So if we had a state of play from a year or two ago that might have just been but then it's like, "Oh yeah, we're also remaking the God of War trilogy. Also, here's a 2D God of War that we're just shadow dropping right now." I think you attach that to most state of plays, and it immediately jumps into like B territory for people.
Sure, but then you can only do that once. And then it takes how long for another game to get made and revealed? I think it's very hard to like always deliver.
Oh yeah, it will.
Yeah.
It's always difficult to do that, but that's the they got it. They got to go through. It's tough.
Hit me with some super chats, John.
Let me see. We have Zoop says, "Who invited Four Loop? Staying on Masterclass State of Play."
Oh,
People are not having it with this
oh.
Four Loop game. I'm telling you, man.
Oof. Poor Mike Booth.
Yeah. Norfair Affair says, "Hey John, you didn't read my super chat last Click R3, buddy. What a wonderful state of play. I just wanted to know Ryan's thoughts on GTA 4 Online."
Wait, I thought we did. Are you fucking with us? I thought we did.
I think he just wants to know your thoughts on GTA 4 Online.
Okay. What thoughts would you like me to repeat for you? Well, I have the platinum for it. I'm never doing it again.
You're never gonna fire that game up again?
No, I fire up GTA 4 every year.
Okay.
Online to play PS3 games online.
Just see who's playing.
Maybe I should like do some Hangman's Noose again. Like just find a poor soul out there that's still doing them. Just for PS3 online, do one or two of them. See if I've still got it.
Mean Monkey Man says, if Sony wants physical games on their new handheld, they should have a dock with a built-in disc drive.
They don't want physical games on it. It's not going to have physical media.
I think that's a big push for digital when that handheld drops. Yeah, that's going to be the thing that pushes people over the edge.
Dude, the only way it's happening if it's kind of like a remote play situation. If it can like authenticate a paired console, you're not getting it, and they don't want it. Probably it'll be a compromise of that.
Yeah, I think if Sony could have it their way, it's just digital right now, and you got to buy everything from them.
Yeah.
Zoop says, last showcase announced Concord, Fair Games, and Marathon. Their idea of a big show was multiple DOA services they had to reevaluate. Yeah, Fair Games, you know what? If Fair Games doesn't get shown again, I don't think anyone really lose sleep. So if they just pretend like it didn't exist, they're good.
But like we're leaving out, that was a big gameplay debut for Spider-Man 2. It's like it's a balancing act. It's putting some single player and some live service in there. If you're front loaded on, to be honest, if you're front loaded on strictly live service, it's a problem. Nobody's gonna complain about strictly single player. You know, in this case, we had what? Kana, and then we had Legends live service, DS2 PC, 4 loop, then your live service again. But then we roll it in with Steros gameplay, single player, back to Tokon live service, then God of War trilogy. Sounds like if you can sort of equalize it, I think you sort of walk away from that narrative.
I think it's also live service is just so demanding of your time that it's basically like pick one of these 4 and that's all you're going to play. Single player, you could do so many of them throughout a year. So Frank says Chicken Man gonna got it as Peter as the final boss. Getting stars day 1. Gonna play Symphony of the Night before this new Castlevania. 7.5 to 8 out of 10 for state of play.
It's a good idea playing some Symphony of the Night again.
That was a good one. Yeah, I mean 7.5 to 8 out of 10 for the internet. That's basically a 12 out of 10. So that's good. I mean, people were giving out, people would give out 2 or 3 out of 10 for state of plays, Nintendo Directs, or any other developer, whatever. They would do that a lot. So you know what? In the realm of game reviews, people are terrified to use the entire scale. It starts at 7 almost, But man, when it comes to these presentations, we use the entire scale exists again for some reason.
Yep. This is gonna sound like such a crazy tangent, but I remember watching, like, it was like somebody on YouTube Shorts or something, and they like reviewed food, and their like scale was always like 7, 8, 9, 10. And they never reviewed under, and they had to go out of their way to tell people like, that's my scale. Why the fuck do we have a 1 out of 10 scale if we're never exploring below 7? They were like dead ass about it. Like, my scale is like 7's the lowest. So 7's like straight garbage. Like, you just would never go eat there again. I don't know, man.
So you're saying we got to bury some games just to prove a point?
I don't know how we can't count. I don't know.
Okay, here's a good question for you, Ryan. What game for you is a 3 out of 10?
So, like 4 out of 10s and under are like very problematic, troubled, technically like issued games. Those are like actually bad games to me. This is why I find like, I know I just did a fucking video about this. This is why Mind's Eye to me is like a 6 out of 10. Like, it's got like very clear issues technically, but based on the patch I played, like, it is completely playable. But it, at that point, it's just like, oh, bad writing, inoffensive third-person shooting. But I think you still can have fun with those games. And that's sort of where it's like mediocre to me, because we have to remember 5 out of 10 is like mediocre essentially. Actual bad games are like, I think, really like bottom of the barrel stuff. If we're calling Mind's Eye bad, like the worst fucking game you could ever possibly play, what are we calling like that, like Lord of the Rings Gollum game, or the trash that ships on Steam constantly, or PS? Like, we have to properly explore the scale. I don't know. That's where I come from. I know it's not something everybody would agree with, but that's sort of where I, fall in the whole thing.
3 out of 10 is more like nearly broken for you, basically, for a game.
Well, it's got to have like like really glaring ish, like very heavily complicated issues.
Okay.
To be like in the 3 sector.
Let's see. This is Victor, who says this state of play was great. A spooky Silent Hill Townfall trailer, new John Wick game, new Castlevania game, and a new Dead or Alive fighting game by Team Ninja. That's it. Yeah.
Bespoke says a lot of things you want.
Bespoke says it looks like Sony is going back to the old way they used to acquire studios. Do a few games of the studio. If they are good, then you put a ring on it. Oh, it's are you thinking of Ember? Are people thinking that Sony is going to acquire Ember now?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's like the line of thinking. I would think that didn't really ever change for Sony. It's just the issue is like they picked up all the like the obvious partners, and now nobody else is really standing out anymore in that similar fashion of how they acquired studios. But that hasn't changed over like lots of leadership turnover, because that's always the most pertinent thing, is that the people that make those decisions are not always there anymore. So it's like over multiple changeovers of SIE leadership, they have consistently only done M&A if it like made sense from a long-standing partner. So Ember, like Ember is starting to like show up more, and maybe that would make sense for both companies down the road.
I mean, we'll find out with this new Kana game this year. What did the first one get? Because you know how Sony, it does care about scores for games. We know that. What did the first one get? Because I mean, I saw the potential there. It's an 81.
Yeah, it's definitely. That's like, and that is a potential thing. You're right. Like you exactly point out, they care deeply about critical reception. So it's like, I don't think they like that doesn't make sense for them so fast with an 80 out of 10 game. Like they'd want to see consistent growth and building and fostering of that talent. And it still has to make sense for Ember too.
Yeah, but in this case, Sony comes in. I mean, I assume saw the potential with the Kana Bridge of Spirits and is like, well, what if we actually get behind this next project you have? Oh, it's another Kana game. Yeah, let's do that. And we're kind of seeing the results early on from this trailer that we got, where it does look like a bigger, better Kana Bridge of Spirits. So I like the sound of that. If it does come in and it's like mid to upper 80s, I mean, we might be reading about Sony making an acquisition of Ember. It wouldn't shock if that popped up, that press release wouldn't shock me then. This is from Valenhorn says, Mystic, play Venus Vacation, you'll get it.
Venus Vacation.
They say?
Is this a naughty game? Is that they're referring to?
Oh, is that for DOA?
It sounds promiscuous.
Street Shadow says, what if they're going to keep all the Sony cross marketing in Metal Gear Solid 4? Walkman, the disc change line of the PS3 controller. That's a good question. I don't know.
They got to take that stuff out, right? Like most of it.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's, I mean, the game, I don't think it's emulated. So, I mean, we'll hear about it, but it kind of sounds like they just straight ported the thing. So
I would think they did.
Probably make some changes as they went along. Yeah. Just a very generic looking dual shock like controller in there.
I mean, the thing I always think about with stuff like this is when Neil Druckmann said, like, it was way harder to get a PS Vita in The Last of Us Part 2 than you would think. Like he joked about it. Like somebody asked, I think it was on Kind of Funny or something, but somebody asked him like, oh, how easy was that? Because it's a Vita. He's like, dude, way harder than you think. They're owned by PlayStation. They're making a PlayStation only game. He's like, that was a pain in the ass putting a Vita in that game.
That's interesting.
So they just got to go through bullshit like that.
Talion says, great showcase today. I've recently been catching up on the last episode of Click R3 2025 and listen to them while speed running Knack. What's the speed run record in Knack looking like right now?
How do you do it?
What's that whole scene look like?
Is there like a glitch? Is there any sort of chapter skips?
Actually, like a lot of drama in the Knack scene.
Is there like a cool 40-minute expose on like cheaters in the Knack community, the speedrunning community?
Let's see. Knack speedrun world record. Okay, here we go. I have the top time. Do you want to take a guess at all at this?
Oh, dude. Well, so I remember. I think the Knack single player. It's kind of long, isn't it? It's like
this is any percent. So basically, just get to the end.
It's like an hour.
They got it at 2 hours 21 minutes.
Okay, that because I'm like that game is actually way longer than it has any business being. I think it's like an 8 to 12 hour campaign or something. Actually, I think
it says well, this says How Long to Beat says it's 12 hours, but then it says the main story is 10 and a half hours. So it's more than 10 hours, basically, from what I can tell.
Normally. I don't know why, but like I remember it taking like way longer. Not longer than that, but it just felt like a long game, like 10 hours.
Me Monkey Man says, Ryan, you seem to have no communication with SIE at all. Are you blacklisted because of your stance on the X versus cross debate?
Yeah, they don't like fence sitters because I don't pick one or the other. Yeah, that might be what it is. That might be.
I actually say that I like when kids are playing Ape Escape, I go press cross.
You're setting your kids up for failure, John.
I'm setting them up to be right. That's what I'm doing. They
technically right, but then they sound wrong to the vast majority of people.
Well, the vast majority of people will learn something then. They do press the right button and everything, though. They recognize it. So Sony might be onto something with that.
They might be onto their own product.
Yes, they might know. Brad says, no sign of next Yuta game.
Ueda
game.
Yeah.
What happened to that thing, Ryan?
It's MIA for a little. They're probably making it.
They got like the little vehicle spaceship thing. It flew away. The little head turned into like the helicopter thing took off.
Yeah. They're still making it. Still making it. I don't know.
Disappeared.
Would it show up at a PlayStation event? That's the real question.
Maybe Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
Game Awards.
Boss Baby is a 3. I've never consumed worse. There's a Boss Baby game?
Boss Baby is a 3. Is that the movie?
Boss Baby game. The Boss Baby Backyard Racer? Boss Baby Back in Business?
Is there a game? Are there games for it?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you had the game in front of you.
I'm like, I don't know. It says Boss Baby Back in Business.
Huh.
Free online pair matching cartoon memory game. I don't know. What? Some of those kids' games are bad. And so the kids' games are like, some of them are terrible.
Well, that was the state of play. It was pretty good. And I think Sony is set up pretty well. I kind of feel like at this time we'll get probably a Wolverine state of play, dedicated one.
Yeah, that's definitely news to point out. So people are speculating, we're gonna get Wolverine info here. They already confirmed now, which they said that much previously. Last time we saw Wolverine, they said you'll see it in the spring. Some people might think we're close, but it's not spring yet. So I think you got to wait for that late May, early June state of play.
Here's my only thing with that, Ryan. I feel like they want this game out before GTA 6.
Sure. What's that? You think that would be an issue with when they talk more about it?
I kind of wonder if Wolverine's like a September game.
Yeah, I would think it's somewhere around there.
So I was thinking spring, they might talk about the thing, and I was thinking like maybe early May.
Early May? I'm dying. I think it's just like whenever the next state of play is. I could be wrong.
I figured it would get its own state of play. It's like Wolverine state of play, and like that's it. Like tune in here for 20 minutes of State of Wolverine, basically.
I feel like you only do that like right when the marketing cycle kicks off. So like 2 months prior or something.
It's going to be really weird because this whole summer, this summer is when GTA 6 kicks off with its marketing, and Sony is all over that. So it's going to be an interesting year with the run up to GTA 6 and how all these other games align around that release, because it sounds like they're locked in. Like it's coming out in November.
It is. I want to believe that it's finally happening.
They're clearing the way for GTA 6, as they should be, because you know what, actually, Ryan, since you're dying and you have your show to finish up for tomorrow, why don't we talk about some of the financial stuff for Sony, and then we'll do PSX. Going to give it to you to wrap up.
Well, we have to, at the very minimum, cover their big game announcement, their other big game announcement outside of the State of Play. I feel like we should.
Okay.
Also, John, we have to. You're telling me you don't want to talk about Netflix shutting down on PS3? Really?
I know that was a big thing for you because you saw it and you said, "Man, there's another shot across the bow at the PS3. How much longer does it have left for this world with that store that's somehow still alive?"
Damn. Yeah, shutting down March 2nd. No, the big game announcement here: Horizon Hunters Gathering. This was random. It was on I think it was a Monday or a Tuesday, but they finally, this is Sony finally showing off, and Guerrilla Games confirming their Horizon co-op game. This has been rumored for a long time. I knew this game was coming. It's a 3-player co-op game. Pretty big reveal, 9 minutes long. So they actually showed quite a bit. John, I don't know if you noticed this during the reveal video. They opened this video with the studio director, saying, "Hey, just so you all know, we love single-player games and we're going to keep making them."
I saw that right away. I was like, "Oh man,
this company has got to be so sick of people complaining about this stuff." It's kind of insane that they take every opportunity they can get to tell you that.
Yeah. They know their audience, man. They know what's going to happen when they announce multiplayer stuff.
With that said, it was initially a cinematic trailer. Very different art style, very much they're leaning into the cartoony sort of Fortnite look, but it's all in Horizon universe. So they actually show off known characters, so Aloy and Aaron, but then you have those more distinct classes and the art style. Actually, the leak that we saw prior, is those same characters, but now it's a more polished looking experience. So gameplay, it's 3-player co-op. You and your team can use abilities together. It's melee, arrows, shooting at weak spots on the machines. So standard Horizon gameplay loop, but you go on missions together. You pick your hunter, your role selection. Then there's different modifiers from there. It's got roguelite elements as well. There's also a mode you can do where it's like a Fortnite storm coming in. So you can do that. There's the cauldron mode you can do. So you're going into a cauldron in the game with your NPCs or your online players and take down machines. So it's got some it's a mix of Fortnite, and then also it's got some Monster Hunter in there, but this is strictly co-op, so it's not a PvE or a PvP experience. It's strictly PvE. Because that's the thing too, right? Is that we had Steel Frontiers confirmed. That's the NCSoft one that looks like it's from Guerrilla, because that's the realistic graphics.
Yeah.
But that's that's an MMO, so it's scope-wise very different. That's a PvPvE experience. So this is strictly co-op. 3 players. They also said there is single player. So you can play it single player with NPCs, which is notable. And they'll announce more in the coming months, but a closed play test is beginning the end of this month, PS5 and PC.
Yeah, the single player thing is funny. Hey guys, we still make single player games, don't worry. But here's this Horizon game. And the thing with this art style is it gets that immediate reaction online because it's reminiscent of Fortnite, and everyone immediately goes, "Why do you got to chase Fortnite?" But that aside, and the fact that I almost wonder if we didn't reverse, if this game got announced, Hunter's Gathering, and then a month later Steel Frontiers gets announced, I wonder if it would have been a little different, because you don't have in the back of your mind that cell phone game that looks like a realistic Horizon game versus this one. But I think in this case, it needs to differentiate itself somewhat. And let's face it, it's got to appeal to the to the PC live service scene that is very much they obviously in PlayStation as well, but very much so are accepting of the Fortnite look. Like in terms of Fortnite is incredibly popular. Let's have a game that looks kind of like that. I mean, they showed the treasure chests and it looks like it was a Fortnite treasure chest when they went to open it. And I thought, okay, well, there you go. That said, if the game is genuinely fun, I don't think it matters that much if it looks like Fortnite, but it makes it harder to, it's something else to overcome that you wouldn't have to if it didn't look like this. The thing though that is interesting, it's not at all PvP, and in my mind, it sort of leans into what Helldivers 2 is very good at, in that it's a game that's not really something that's been replicated much. Like Helldivers 2 is very much its own thing, and I kind of look at this and wonder if it's going to end up maybe not the level of Helldivers 2 was some crazy runaway success. I don't think anyone's expected that level. I do wonder if this has a pretty solid chance because it is strictly PvE and they're just going to design completely around that. The fact that it can also be single player really with NPC or bots to follow you along is nice. I don't know. This isn't my only thing with this though, Ryan. Sounds like this is the project for a bit and I'm not getting that third Horizon game for a while.
We'll cover that news right now, John. Over on Blue Sky, Bloomberg's Jason Schreier was responding to people asking about the third Horizon game. One person said that, hey, maybe we shouldn't expect it to launch for a while, and Jason said, yup, as in the game's far away. Another person asked about the team makeup at Guerrilla right now for Horizon Hunter Gathering, and Jason said, quote, I believe most of the studio is on this, end quote. So the implication here, based off two things that Jason Schreier knows, is that Horizon 3 is probably far away. Forbidden West came out in 2022, Burning Shores the following year. So it's actually been quite a bit since we've had another mainline entry. And potentially that means the mainline entry is actually maybe not a 27 game, maybe a 29 game or something. Like it seems actually very far away.
I think it's potential. I think it could potentially be that maybe launch PS6 game or first year cross-gen game, which is funny because then it's like, well, I guess I'm going to wrap up the franchise that started on the PS4 on the PS6. And that just, that really, I think just defines gaming right now with these development cycles. You start a franchise on the PS4, you end on the PS6, 2 generations later. Whereas back before, even on the PS3, you'd get Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. So it just kind of shows that the difference now in gaming. So it's kind of a shame because I would kick Hunter's Gallery to the side and just get Gathering out to the side, and I will take the third one instead. I gotta wait. Unfortunate.
It sounds like what they did was finish Burning Shores, or really Forbidden West, trail off a bit with Burning Shores, but the studio starts to funnel more people onto Hunter's Gathering. Now, primarily the studio's on that. You've got a small crew beginning Horizon 3, and then any sort of overseeing collaboration projects, which they've clearly got going on, like because they had Call of the Mountain at the time, the NCSoft thing, as far as how involved they are or are not in these projects. Same with Zero Dawn Remastered. They're a big studio, but you're spreading yourself thin with more things you take on. I would think it's primarily Hunter's Gathering, and now as that closes out, you'll funnel people into Horizon 3. That just means that the weird thing, with a launch PS6 title, that it sounds like it's further away than that. Because in theory, a launch, well, this is where the contention comes in on when PS6 is even launching. If we still think it's holiday 2027, that's much closer than I would think. So the game might be somewhat analogous to Forbidden West in that it's a marquee PS6 title, but it might be a year 1 game, possibly a year 2 game. But that is still highly up for debate on when the console even launches. But this game's also always a looker too. I mean, if anything, you might want it to be a visual showcase for PlayStation 6.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing that Guerrilla is very good at. I mean, I still think Forbidden West, especially open world game, that and how it's not like Death Stranding 2 looks great, obviously, but you're not doing the stuff that you're doing in Horizon and Death I think it is. I think it's like the best looking open world game I've ever seen, visually speaking.
For Forbidden West?
Yeah, especially on the PS5 Pro.
It's it's actually somewhat tough to say because I feel like DS2 is also a looker. And these are both Decima games too. So it really
Yeah,
speaks to the quality of the engine and the quality of the studios.
but I mean, like for example, in Horizon, when you're up top and you smash into the water and go underwater, then you fly back up. That's just stuff you're not doing in Death Stranding 2.
That's true. Well,
So
they're
with
very different biomes in each game, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, it just feels very dynamic compared to it. I
Mhm.
was trying to see for Horizon Hunters Gathering, the viewership that it's garnered on social media and stuff. It's interesting because people still to this day ask about the popularity. They question the popularity of Horizon, and it does still feel like kind of forced to a degree with Herman Hulst there. And we look at him and go, okay, yeah, obviously you want Horizon, which has been his thing for a while, dating back to Gorilla, to really have that spotlight, and people feel almost force fed by it. But hey, man, you know what? These Horizon Hunters Gathering, it got a lot of viewership online. You know, it's not like it
Mhm.
only had a few people looking at it. A lot of people cared enough to check it out, and yeah, kind of downvote it, but check it out. And that's the thing. I think it's going to have a lot of interest. It's going to have a lot of people checking it out and probably playing it because it seems to be canon to the Horizon universe as well.
Right. Yeah, it's in the universe, it's got its own story. So there will be like a something told here that you can go through. Um the single player saved it for me. I think I'd still maybe try it as it's intended. It's very clearly
Mm.
that it's very clearly that first, and single player is more of a tacked on thing in this case. But the very minimum, I kind of like that. I like if I want to go at it at my own pace, I probably could. Um,
Special episode of Click R3 where we play Horizon Hunters Gathering.
just like all the other things we said we do.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I think it's this game I thought was always going to have an uphill battle. I think it looks even more awkward next to Steel Frontiers. But I mean, to your point, I disagree. I still find Horizon is big for a reason. Some people don't like believing that, but the numbers always show it. It's just more a matter of this is the first time Horizon will debut as a multiplayer game. And the sentiment overall is not particularly kind to these games.
I'm It's interesting because I do think the one of the big selling points for Horizon is that it is a technical showcase for the console that it's on. When Horizon Zero Dawn first came out on the PS4, it was like super impressive looking. And then we get Forbidden West on the PS5, super impressive looking. This one, not as much. So that's kind of the question I have as well is will it still be able to do well without having that like really impressive looking technical aspect to it. And it's really going to come down to, I think that one, the gameplay, obviously, because that's what it's mostly hinged on. But two, I think the community online for it and the streamer scene, like the things that make something like Arc Raiders and stuff popular, and that kind of a pull, that kind of a draw, where it's you want to keep playing the game and signing in and getting all the character progression, and because there's not going to be a competitive nature to it, then it's not PvP. So that's the stuff that a marathon or an Arc Raiders and stuff, even though it's extraction shooter and you're going in and trying to work together, there's always that danger, that sense of there could be PvP at any time. So you don't necessarily have that competitive draw to it. I don't know. We still need more information on the game anyway, because people are going to get their hands on it soon. And we don't even know when it comes out. This could be something that, I mean, I don't think it's a year out. Like, I think it's coming out 2026. But we've seen these live service kind of games, multiplayer games, get pushed back, like delayed out of a year. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm
Play tests at
middling
the end
on
of
it.
this month, John.
Yeah, I'll have to see. I'll have to see.
We will see indeed. So yeah, the other big story from the last episode that we have not covered yet is Sony's fiscal year 2025 Q3 report. So this is the 3 months ending December 31st, 2025. Got some numbers to spit out at you, John. Sony sold 8 million consoles during the quarter. That's down from the 9.5 they sold last year, year over year. But their worldwide total of PS5 sales is at 92.2 million. For comparison's sake, on a launch line basis with PS4 was at 94.3 million. Still a little behind, but as we've said many times over, the average selling price for this console is much higher, and they're seemingly not really slowing at a noticeable rate. Digital software versus physical games ratio, 76%, so pretty similar to previous quarters. Monthly active users was 132 million. That's a new peak for them. So definitely getting more users for a little bit. Operating income was a 19% increase, impacted positively by exchange rates, network services sales, and first-party game sales. The only negative noteworthy here was an increase in losses on hardware. So they've been manufacturing the same console since 2020, but their bill of materials is always shifting and changing upward in a negative way. So at the very minimum, we know that they're getting hit probably like a lot of other people. Forecast on sales and operating income was revised 4% and 2% upward, respectively. Only a negative impact is a change in release dates for first-party titles. The key things to point out, John, Sony says they reached a record high this quarter for PlayStation Store revenue, and then PS Plus contributed significantly to the results because more people are shifting to the higher tiers. So despite what you might see online, people are indeed buying extra and premium more and more. Kind of insane. So they did comment on memory prices. They said they've secured a minimum quantity to get them through the year-end selling season of fiscal year 2026. So this means they're good for this holiday season and not the next 3 months into 2027. But conceivably, the prices for the console is staying the same for now over that very important holiday season with Grand Theft Auto 6. But they did say, based on the current console cycle, they can adjust flexibly and minimize impact. In order to minimize impact, they're going to, quote, prioritize monetizing the existing installed base, which basically says the people right now that own the console, we're going to charge you more for other things.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the way that they said that.
This is a financial report. This is them being as candid as possible. They're literally saying we're going to charge more for the things we're doing right now.
I mean, I think that means that a PlayStation Plus price increase is on the table if it has to be. Like if things get a little out of control with the memory procurement costs, premium might be $200 a year, something like that. I mean, that might be the reality.
Yeah. Another interesting fact is that Sony now added an other software category onto their balance sheet here. So before they would lump that into accessories and VR, now it has a proper separate category that shows their sales of non-PlayStation console games. So sales on PC, Xbox, and Switch for this quarter was about 1.5% of total revenue, which has been a talking point for some people, obviously.
So right now they mentioned that they have enough memory for the next fiscal year, they believe. We need to see what their forecast is for next year. And we won't find out about that until May, first week of May or something, when they give us their full year report. And the reason we need to figure that out and find out what the forecast is, because the forecast for the upcoming year should be, I think, the same as it was this past year. I don't think it's going to lower because GTA 6 is going to have an effect on the market, and they have to know that. My concern is that they're going to think they need 14 million or 15 million, whatever, something like that, PlayStation 5s for the year, which would be, I think, incredible for this time in its life cycle. But then they're going to get hard by demand with GTA 6, and they're just, it sounds weird to say, they might sell out of PS5s, like in general for the market. Then I wonder what that does to speed up the timeline behind the scenes when it comes to memory procurement. Will all of a sudden they'd be like, oh, wow, never mind. We're actually down to the amount of memory that we thought we needed for the rest of the fiscal year, and it's November. We're going to finish up this calendar year, and then we're not in trouble. We're like, we need to figure this out now. I think GTA 6 is going to have a pretty substantial impact on the market. And it's just hard to plan for because it's Xbox or PlayStation. I think we can all kind of read the room right now for Xbox. Can we all do that? Okay. So it's going to be, well, I guess I'm getting a PlayStation. My friends have PlayStation, and that's the big holiday thing. So it's that and GTA 6 that's going under the tree. We're done for the holidays. That's it. We're good. So I think that's going to be a pretty popular combo.
Yes.
Will Sony be ready? So. That's kind of the question. So I think with that in mind, though, massive opportunity for Sony. I think the PS5, I'm looking at these results, and I think I mentioned Sony's going to have a better than expected report, and they did. It was a very good. You said 8 million. That
8 for console shipped 8.2.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
Or 8 million flat. 8 million flat.
Yeah, that's very, very good. Technically, if you look at the quarters, you match them up, it sold more than the Switch 2 in that quarter. Now, the full year, the Switch 2 sold more. I get that, but the holiday quarter, it was the PS5. They did a very good job discounting around Black Friday with the PS5, right. Very strategic, and it worked well. And so now they're in position with GTA 6 on the table. And I think they're going to have a bit of a flurry of late gen releases from first party and the potential for this generation maybe going 1 year longer than they originally thought. So, okay, it's not 27. We're going to 28 before the PS6 hits the scene. I think the PS5 is going to completely outsell the PS4. And I'm kind of thinking it finishes somewhere between the PS4 and the PS2. But really depending on how they approach maybe another revision of the PS5 to get the price down and how long the PS5 generation goes, I'm not going to say it's going to outsell the PS2. It might be on the table, Ryan. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. You think so?
I'm saying it might be on the table. It might be there.
Yeah, it's weird because like right now the sales pace is still behind PS4, but PS4 towards the end of it like fell off a cliff.
Right.
So there's a world where like this discrepancy of like 2 million consoles is going to be a drop in the bucket if they sort of have this eerily long cross-gen period where the console is completely irrelevant, especially for such a high profile game. So right. I think there's a world where it exceeds PS4. It's tough to say with PS2.
I think the system has to get a little cheaper, though. I don't know if Sony, who knows what the future holds. AI could explode and bubble pops, and all of a sudden it's, hey, we can get this PS5 down to $300. And you go, oh, $299. Okay, great. Now this is going to go crazy and sell really well going forward in the 2030s. So that's my thing is I think the PS5 very well could be relevant, decade plus after it came out. It could be a machine that's still selling in 2031 or 2032. Especially, and I hate to say it, but I'm starting to feel like the PS6 is going to be more expensive than people were expecting right now with how it looks right now. I'm kind of thinking it's like 700 minimum without a disk drive.
I still think it'd be really tough for them to like sell a new console at that, like the main one everyone should be buying. That's tough.
Well, I think that's why the PS5 still exists. I think that's going to be they're going to pull the Don Matrick, we got a console for you thing, with the PS5. I think the cross gen is longer, and I think they just work to figure that, because you saw the specs for the PS6 that were getting thrown around like recently, like past week.
Right. Well, that was Kepler like throwing out like personal predictions. They don't necessarily think that's like actually that's not them airing it out as a rumor per se. But either way, like, yeah, like the console would have a pretty expensive bill of material sheet. It's weird, John, because like they still have economies of scale. I think people are overlooking that no matter what. Like, yeah, these parts went up by like 200%, like these very crucial components, but that's still 200% from what was something substantially lower than any like consumer parts out there. So it's a weird gray area of no doubt it's going to greatly affect their business. But I think it's a little exaggerated to say PlayStation 6 is going to, I'm not saying you're saying this, but like 1,000 plus, like, no, they're still in the business of selling, a low volume.
I don't think it's be 1,000,
or rather a high volume economies of scale box. I think I still would assume, obviously it's speculation on my part, that they'll they just have to like eat it, unfortunately. Like, this sucks. This is out of our control. We just have to eat it. And in fairness, they could eat it because this is PlayStation and they make so much goddamn money from this console, more than they ever have.
Right.
PS5 revenue eclipses PlayStation 2. Like, it's not even close. So it's a weird gray area of absolutely it's going to cost them more to make and sell this thing. But I think we're overstepping it a bit with just how much more it realistically is and if Sony can bear it or not.
I think, well, again, a lot of it depends on what's happening with this whole RAM situation where AI is eating up so much of it. Because by 2038, maybe things fall through and you don't have as much demand behind the scenes and they can figure it out. But dude, 30 gigabytes of DDR7 is what's getting thrown around in a clamshell design. NVIDIA cards are getting canceled right now because they might need 24 gigabytes of GDDR7. And those are $1,000 plus cards right now. So I just don't. And the SSD, like, is it a 1 terabyte? Like, there are so many questions I have about that to where it just doesn't feel like it fits within a nice, and it sounds weird to say nice, but a nice $600 box. It's everything that's being said sounds like brace for impact. It might be $700 best case.
Right.
It's what it sounds like right now. Again, we could be 2 years removed from now, 2028. The world looks different. Things change every day, it feels like. But man, I don't know. There was a video section that I cut out that was when I talked to Matt Piscatella, and he was talking about how affluent households more than ever right now are kind of holding up the console scene. Like, more than ever, it's households that are $100,000 or more are buying consoles, and it's not necessarily the case for less than $100,000 households. And it does make me think about how the audience is getting older and more affluent, and how long does that hold up the console if it keeps climbing in price, if we don't figure out how do we find a good $400 console at this time.
Mm-hmm. No, that is definitely the other side that I completely agree with. That's what does scare me. Like, I wouldn't say it's impossible that we'd get a console that expensive. That's what makes me uneasy is knowing that metric of it's simply more affluent buyers that are propping up the console business right now. So I hope it isn't that, right? Like, I hope the company just like deals with it. Like, if I'm PlayStation, like that's probably what I would try to just weather through, knowing that the parts they're not going to cost that forever. But then again, it's a very like everything. It's so turbulent. Like, it could get even worse.
If the PS5 goes up to $600 before we get to the PS6, will you then be in this is probably $700 camp?
I mean, yeah, it'll certainly look like that. But then it becomes a question of, is the company going to commit to that late 27 launch?
Oh, no. Yeah. I think if the PS5 has to go, like, they say they have enough for the rest of the year. Again, say things accelerate GTA 6. They got to go back, get new contracts for RAM. And then they go, well, PS Plus, we've already raised 200. Guess what? The PS5 is 600 with the disc. That becomes tough. Because then all I can imagine is, well, it's not going to cost the same as the PS5 when the 30 gigabyte equipped PS6 shows up. Because then also the people tend to forget, by the way, Ryan, I've noticed this. People tell me the PS5 Pro is $700. And I go, actually, it's $750.
$750.
And they go, are you sure? I'm like, go look. They're like, yeah. I'm like, now put a disk drive on it. How much is it now? And they go, oh, it's $830. I'm like, yeah. So what happens if that has to become $800?
Well, but that was always the weird thing about Pro is like, oh, this has to be a PS4 Pro situation. Like, that console gets discontinued before you even announce the next one, because just optically it doesn't make any sense. PS4 Pro was $400. PS5 Digital Edition launched at $400. So based on product lineup, like you have to like eliminate that machine.
Yeah, it has to go away.
At $750, that thing is getting discontinued before PS6 is revealed. Maybe not revealed, but like certainly pricing.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We didn't see anything about PSSR 2.0 in this state of play, which was a little surprising to me. But maybe they're going to do a thing where PlayStation Blog pushes an update. Mark Cerny does a little video, and it's out this date. Here's all the fun little things it can do. I think that's going to be very telling for the PS5 Pro and what kind of lifespan it has, because that PSSR 2 is really impressive. Maybe that's the system that sticks. I don't know. Can they have that one stick around and the base PS5 drops in price? And
no, it's the Pro goes. Pro goes, and I'd love to think they dropped the price, but it's nobody knows. I don't think anybody really knows.
What a weird situation.
It sucks, dude. It really sucks.
The handheld, by the way, sounds like it's going to align closer to Microsoft's Xbox ROG Ally X. That's like $1,100. I think Sony would get it cheaper than that. I don't know how much cheaper it's going to be, though, because ROG, Asus trying to make money on it. I get that. They're not really subsidizing it, because why would they? But even if you knock $200 off the thing, is Sony going to produce an $800 to $900 handheld?
No, because again, like, they have their contracts for economies of scale are way better than these PC manufacturers. Way better. Like, whenever this thing gets revealed and shown off, and maybe it is a really high price tag, 6, maybe even 7, like, they're still going to sell way more than the PC ones. I would think, like, just calling my shot now, like, I think they're probably going to easily eclipse. And I mean, granted, the Portal's $200, but considering like how niche it is for a remote play device, and that thing can move a few million.
Yeah, but I think the Portal OLED is going to be $300 at the end of this year.
Sure, but like, again, like, I'm just surprised that they're able to move that many for a remote player.
Yeah,
so certainly there's a more satiable appetite for, oh great, I don't have to do that remote play shit.
Oh yeah, no, there absolutely is.
Yeah, like, so I just think it's a weird, again, it's like a really weird gray area of it. Yeah, their bill of materials high, but they still have economies of scale. If like they have to spend $60 on memory and they get a 200+ increase on memory, like, that's still like not going to make this thing obscenely expensive, but it's on PlayStation to like bear they should be able to bear it.
I was a little concerned because the Steam Deck is completely sold out. Yeah. And there's speculation that the reason it's sold out is because Valve is having a hard time swinging a $550 3-year-old system right now, handheld. Yeah. And again, it just makes me think about where we're about to head with Sony in the next 2 years. That's all. It was something that's popping up because I'm thinking about the sales trajectory of the PS5 and what would keep it relevant. A very expensive next generation for a couple of years would keep the PS5 relevant for a run at maybe the PS2. So I just get concerned about the idea of expensive systems pricing out the gamer to where it's tough to greenlight games because there's 30 or 40 million systems and it's tracking behind last gen, and it's a whole thing to figure out. It's a weird world.
Very weird. We should point out the one thing from the report too. Ghost of Yotei sales have exceeded Tsushima on a launch line basis. It's a pleasant surprise, by the way. I would have thought the game was probably tracking like slightly under, but that's fine because it's an average selling price that's higher than Tsushima. But great for Sucker Punch. Huge congrats to him. Jesus Christ. Still dying, John.
Yeah, I figure this is a game that I think it's going to eventually outsell Tsushima.
Yeah, like the sales legs will determine it for sure. Yeah. But that'd be great. Typically, sequels don't sell better than the predecessor. So
I think
good for them.
Yeah, I think what'll happen is it'll get this. So the multiplayer dropping next month. I think that'll be a bit of a boost to it as people tell other people to buy it to play online with them. It'll get its PC release a year and a half from now, maybe. And then let's face it, will probably get a PS6 director's cut because it's a technically sound game that looks really good, and it has ray tracing that's used in like a performance capacity even for that mode, and it feels like it's set up perfectly for them to say, look how great this game looks on the PS6. We're going to do a PS6 version of it. You know what I mean? Like a $10 upgrade or something. And that will get people looking at it again. So I think this is a game that's going to be relevant and in the news and keep people's attention for years. So I think it's going to end up outselling Tsushima. And you know what? It's just a better game than Tsushima. So it makes sense to me.
All right. Well, we've got other
you don't
stories.
You think Tsushima's better? Hold on a minute.
I haven't finished Yote yet. I can't say.
Okay.
I can't say. I mean, so far, I enjoyed Tsushima's story more.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pleasantly surprised with the direction of Yote's story. So it's really tough for me to say. Gameplay, I think, like it's definitely more refined. I'm enjoying the variety of things more. But to me, it feels like a very refined, better Tsushima. So for the most part, very happy with the game. Like, I think I'm still just pissing away hours on it.
I think Jin's dilemma was better.
Yeah, I liked his dilemma more. Like there are certain moments in Tsushima that I still think about today as like that shit hit so hard. And I think Yote's already had a few for me, but I just can't say like where that game's going to land for me compared to that first one.
Yeah, so I think the Jin's dilemma is better, but I think Atsu's character is better than Jin.
That is all. You know what? That actually, I think that assessment is accurate for me so far. Atsu does seem more personable than Jin so far.
Yeah, that's just I just like Yote quite a bit, almost across the board, other than, as you mentioned, the conflict within Tsushima. Whereas Yote is a bit more. There are some twists and turns, but it's more of a straightforward revenge story. You know, whereas Tsushima was Jin trying to decide between honor and just doing whatever he has to do to win. You know, kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, both good games. Sucker Punch, man, the nice thing about Sucker Punch, they keep their costs under control. So they're turning in really good looking games that don't break the bank. And I'm sure Sony loves that. So
for sure. I was going to say we could knock out I'll like spitfire through these stories real fast. Nothing too crazy going on.
Okay.
Well, no, it's worth mentioning, right? So like we had a rumor from Nate over on his channel, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, multi-plat right away. Still a rumor, but yeah, I mean, I would think that they're kind of done with that. We saw Rebirth confirmed for Switch and Xbox. That's coming out in June. So
it's a third party. It's gonna still come to PlayStation. So I feel like most people are like, all right, it's cool.
It does let us know that like their agreement, they amended it initially with 7 Remake because we knew that was a year. Then a year went by, never came to Xbox. They must have amended that deal, had one deal for Rebirth, and that was during Square's transition, new president. So I think, now they're done. So the third game has no deal.
They should bet on themselves and go multi-plat, put it everywhere. If you can get it on phones, get it on phones. Because Square Enix, they need some wins. They do.
When that Nintendo Direct finished, we also had the director, Hamaguchi-san, on their personal Twitter account. They said, quote, "This year we plan to share more updates on Final Fantasy VII Remake project than ever before," end quote. We'll probably see Part 3 this summer, as we're hearing. If I had to guess, we'll see if they'll do a proper reveal.
How's Rebirth going?
I will get to it after Yote.
You almost watched this state of play and had everything spoiled for you. If
I told you
it was over.
I'm doing it after Yote and now also Sons of Sparta.
Hold on, but the Saros is coming up too.
I know, John. That's in April. I got time. I am telling the audience, and I'm telling you right now, I will finish Rebirth's story, not platinum. The story, yes, I will have it done. Okay?
You gotta get the story, because I don't know how they show a trailer for this game without spoiling.
John. I know, John. Get off my back, God.
It was a while ago.
Mean Monkey Man's mean. All right, another story real quick. GTA 6 marketing is beginning this summer. That's from Take-Two, confirmed. And the CEO Strauss Zelnick actually did comment on the physical media rumor. He said that's not the plan. He was speaking with I think it was Variety, but yeah, games.
There you go, Ryan.
Yeah,
you're
okay.
good.
I wasn't worried because I'd still wait. We're gonna skip that. I wrote the high guard stuff down. Who wants to talk about that? We talked about the Pragmata demo. We got some PlayStation production things real quick. The God of War Amazon TV series, Mimir, played by Alistair Duncan, awesome. Same. That's a great casting. Brock is Danny Woodburn, Sindri is Jeff Gulka, and Atreus is Callum Vinson.
All right.
I think casting is all good. Helldivers movie. Jason Momoa. I know you're a big fan over there, John.
Is he like the Tom Holland now? The new Tom Holland? He's in everything.
I don't know. He isn't. I saw a tweet or some post. Somebody was like, "Does this guy say no? Does this man ever say no to anything?"
I mean, he's having a time of his life, I guess. This has to be kind of like a comedy too, right? Helldivers.
It's like a Star. It's like Star Troopers. It has to be.
It can't take itself seriously.
No, I don't think I don't care who you cast as long as it's like funny. It's Helldivers. That movie's coming out November 10th, 2027. Again, directed by Justin Lin, previously known for Fast and Furious films. So it should be
it's definitely gonna be stupid.
It should be over the top and goofy. Yeah.
Good.
I'll have to see Jason Momoa getting an R34 GTR or something. I don't know, and squash a bug.
Gosh.
The Last of Us HBO season 3. It might be the last.
It should be the last.
Hold on. Speaking with Deadline, the chairman and CEO of HBO, Casey Bloys, was asked if The Last of Us will be finished after season 3. And Bloys said, quote, "It certainly seems that way, but on decisions like that, we will defer to the showrunners, so you can ask them," end quote. Craig Mazin said previously they weren't sure. They were considering it. Sounds like maybe they're leaning towards only a season 3 now. Then they should wrap it up in 3. I always like to posit. I wouldn't have mind a 4th season if only because you can spend a lot more time in Santa Barbara. That 2-ish hours in the game, I actually would not mind at all, like a full season, like exploring the Rattlers and the Santa Barbara struggle. But if it's 3, I'm fine with it. I still think season 2 was it was good to me. I had my problems with it, but I don't hate it.
Okay. So I mean, we're gonna do our episode wraps whenever that comes back.
Yeah, we could do those again. Yeah, for sure.
That was fun.
Either do them separately or tack them on the end of the show, however people want us to do it. That's all I've got for you. If you want to hit up some remaining super chats,
I think we're actually all good. You got PSX going to give it to you?
We are all good. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, which one am I going to do? Oh, let's see. I've got a bunch written down here. We spent some time talking about console launches. Let's do this one. The physical PS4 product design, John. As you know, it's like that sort of trapezoid, but not really looking trapezoid look. That design was made by Tetsu Sumi. Oh, God, I got to do the intro. It's PSX gonna give it to you. This is the topic of the show where we go over something old, cool, nostalgic, or hip about PlayStation facts. Teach some kids things that's going on in the PlayStation landscape. I still got to make that sound bite, John. I'll make that sound bite.
X gonna give it to you.
Yeah, PSX gonna give it to you. The physical PS4 product design was made by Tetsu Sumi. So there was a story about this. There were 2 mock-ups that were made. Like there was a bunch of designs. They settled on 2 to make physically, like mock-up. And at the time, the president and CEO, Andrew House, he had 2 mock-ups in his office. And he had them in there for, I want to say a week or so, or a few days. He just kept these 2 consoles in his office. And that was like his call. Like he had to pick one and just sort of sit on it. So he had them in his office for a long time, just like looking at them. And he made the final say on what PlayStation 4's physical design was going to look like. And then he showed it off at E3, which, by the way, Mark Cerny saw the console the same time that we all did. He did not know what the machine was going to look like.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So this is a thing with a lot of these big companies. Sometimes people don't realize this, but they are very compartmentalized. So certain departments don't know what other departments are doing. Mark Cerny in this case, he's never been a PlayStation employee, so there's arguably a lot of things that he probably didn't know. But I mean that's a thing. There's probably many people within PlayStation that had no idea what PlayStation 4 was going to look like until the world saw it for the first time. So I always thought it was kind of a cool fact that like the final design was like it was Andrew's call, and they were like in his office, like he had just two mock-ups, and I really want to know what that other one looked like. What was the
Yeah.
PS4 we almost got?
There is funny history around because we always think about how these consoles are really thought out and they have it all figured out weeks or months before and it's super professional. But then we get stories like that where they go behind the scenes and they either redo it very quickly or they point at one or the other, and that's what you got on the stage with. Like when the original Nintendo first came out way back when for the US, they had to redesign that thing in like 30 minutes. Yeah, apparently it was the word. There's a whole story around that, and that's how they came up with it, and they like presented it right then and there. So it is funny how we think about these legendary console designs now. You could say the PS4 legendary console design, I feel like at this point. It is funny to think that it was cutting it that close almost to from decision to presentation. Is there any video of Cerny seeing it for the first time? I'd be curious to see what the reaction of his face is, where he's like, oh, or he's like, oh, like he's really excited, or like, oh.
I don't think so. No,
That's what they put my configuration, my chipset in. What in the world? Or like, oh wow, that's a good looking console.
I'll never forget like the actual reveal, E3 2013. And it was this big thing, bum 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 bum, like the lights flash out, and then it's just Andrew House holding it. Doesn't say anything. He's just
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah, just kind of showing it off.
What was your reaction to it? Because you were probably live streaming then, right? Or did you have like a reaction? Right? No,
I wasn't live streaming or doing like reaction videos at the time. I don't remember what I don't know what. I think I just thought like, oh, that's kind of weird.
That's not a lifetime ago now, right?
Yeah. Well, now it's like such an iconic silhouette, you know.
It is.
It's small too. Like PS4 was comparatively way smaller than launch PlayStation 3s.
Oh yeah. And then obviously put it next to the Xbox One. It was like tiny.
Yeah.
Rid of that thing. So it was a good design. It was. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I assume the PS6 is going to look very different from the PS5. I just wonder if they go back to that all black design, or if they're sticking with the white and black look.
Yeah, it's tough to say. They've really like coded the entire generation around the white, blue, glowish look, you know. So
yeah, but then you run the risk of it looking the same as the PS5 to where people think it's a PS5 again.
Well, I would think it definitely will be very distinctive. So they probably will have to walk away from the large amount of white that they use.
Yeah. Something to think about. Still a ways off, but we're just waiting for that dev kit so we can all pretend like that's what it's going to look like.
Yeah, this one's going to look like a brick oven.
I hope the dev kit is just, I know they like to dress up their dev kits and stuff, like it looked like a space station. I hope it's just like a PC box. People are like, oh my gosh, they're making a Series X.
That's boring. That's boring. Make it something really cool. Make it look like a tanning bed.
Okay. Interesting. They could just be like a sphere that you get.
Oh, a sphere.
Yep. It's all rounded. It has a little stand and it just sits there on the desk.
Well, now we're getting into PS9 territory.
A palm size, even like holding your hand.
Look like a fushigi.
Hey, I'm here for it. That'd be. I know it's funny because people are like, I don't want the PS6. I think there's always that curiosity and excitement around new hardware. So when we inevitably do get to that point, it'll be exciting. It'll be fun.
I'm here for it.
It'll be a good time. But first, we got to see Mark Cerny explain to us about PSSR. So let's get to that. Cross that bridge. See what we have. So, good. Is that everything, Ryan?
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Not bad. Little 2 hours, 20 minutes almost. Went through everything there that was in the presentation. Covered some pieces of news. Learned something about the PS4. It was a good episode. Yes. Appreciate everyone tuning in. And almost 400 people actually here watching with us. So appreciate that. That's another episode. That's episode 40 of Click R3 in the books. So we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh yeah, I was going to thank the audience for being
okay.
Here. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
Now you can close us out, John.
We'll be back in a couple of weeks, and I assume Ryan will probably play through the God of War game like I will. Got to put Rebirth on the back burner once again. Someday we'll get that done. I bet you this God of War game isn't very long, so
I would think not. That's why I started it, but it certainly did jump ahead of Rebirth, unfortunately.
Well, I had to put down Neo 3 for it, and I do not want to put down Neo 3 for long because I feel like that's a game that I will forget how to play, and that's a whole thing when I come back to it. So
probably, yeah.
Yeah, but thanks everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it. Got everyone on Super Chats. We are good. Okay. We'll be back in a couple of weeks, do it all over again. And we'll see you guys then.
All right.